Hey everyone, it's Dia here, and I've got a very special update to share with you all. Heading into Year 6, the ALGS team have been working hard behind the scenes to make the viewing experience better than ever. Let me show you around the newest addition to the ALGS website, the ALGS Multiview. After signing in with your EA account, you'll be able to watch up to 12 streams at once during every single ALGS event. Each team has its own dedicated observer and comms that you can listen to. Viewers will even be able to vote for which player's POV they want to watch. You can customize your layout, add custom Twitch streams, and even draw over them with built-in tools. Team and individual stats will be easily accessible in the sidebar, updating in real time. And just like on Twitch, you can clip your favorite moments as they happen. And yes, you are still eligible for Twitch drops. Now keep in mind that the ALGS Multiview tool is still in beta, so as we continue improving the experience, we want your feedback. Please share it using the button that you'll find in the bottom right of your screen. Now this tool is free to use, and it'll be available for every single ALGS event. So log on, find your favorite POVs, and tune in for the best viewing experience that ALGS has to offer.
What's up everyone, I'm Jumba and we got a special edition of the Community Plays of the Week because we're going through Peanut's top moments of the Timmy and Burnt Peanut Rookie to Predator stream. Let's start with a quick honorable mention. You know Peanut is an Apex OG because instead of using his R99 here, he's going for the Kraber heat checks.
Oh! Oh no, it's got him, I got him!
But into number 5, I guess Timmy was immediately rubbing off on Peanut, because you know this was a clip you'd expect to see him hit.
Oh my god! No scope! Shit! Did you see that? Did you see that?
I saw that.
We're cooking, boys! We're cooking!
Oh. Some are saying that was massive for the Bungalators, but into number 4, you can see in this Peanut size, he is tired. And I guess a 30-hour warm-up is what he needed to finally lock in.
There's your one, there's your one.
Ooh. I think it's a new team.
Can we slide back to me? Slide back to me.
I died.
No, get the Nexus Ranger again.
Oh, I'm kind of.
I died.
Wait, I'm fried. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
God!
Oh my
I just
gosh.
pieced up that whole team right there. We're back. It's time to play the game. It's time to play the game.
I guess 30 hours is when it's time to start playing the game. But that clip sets up number 3, 26 hours of no sleep, and Peanut finds the answer. Infinite ammo and an L-Star. So no reloading, no thinking, just shooting and entering the flow state.
What's up?
That guy's one.
That one.
I'll res. Yeah, you just hold the height.
One push out. He's right here, he's low.
Yeah, if you need to, back up. You too. Another
Another one low.
Oh.
Got one.
Bingo, crack.
Got two.
That's one outside. He ran outside. You guys. Rest quick.
I'll res. Go get him, Peanut. Come on.
I'm on it, boss. Gotcha. I might actually be back. Maybe we did need a 26-hour warm-up.
All you guys, if you play the same angle.
Oh, I feel on top of the world. Let me kill all these people.
What?
Nobody can stop me. I'm too good.
Yeah. You guys get it.
Nobody can stop. Oh, the last one's one shot. Go.
Pulling up, Timmy.
Oh, they've been so cool if I got them all.
At number 2, my man's become an Apex master now and has become one with the Sentinel, starting this off with a 158 to the dome piece.
188.
Oh my god.
Text him.
Charge. Speed dance.
Oh, they're on top of each other. Go.
Two down.
19.
You get right here. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm insane!
And after that, you got to be wondering what could possibly take number 1. Well, surely it could only be topped by Peanut fulfilling the prophecy.
Fulfilled the prophecy.
Respect them.
It is the slingshot.
So I went back to the lobby.
Charging shields.
I'll
Are you
still
good?
stay in and requeue.
Not how we go, Bobby.
It is the prophecy.
Yeah, I don't know.
As the
Maybe
prophecy
it's best to just stay in the lobby.
foretold. As the prophecy foretold.
Peanut.
In case you missed it, let's play it back in slow motion one time. Peanut literally lifts off his seat.
So I went back to the lobby.
And that's your Burnt Peanut Top 5s. A huge thank you to Peanut for letting us at ALGS use his clips. You can find him obviously on all socials at The Burnt Peanut. And also, if you'd like, you can find me anywhere at JumboGW. Finally, make sure to go to the community tab on the ALGS website and submit your clips so you can be featured in the next one.
In this game, victory is a choice. You lose. You rebuild. You evolve. Or you're left in the dust. No, we are not done yet. This is where we earn our scars.
I bloody love this egg.
Every loss takes a piece of you. Until only the strongest parts remain. Keep moving.
Let's settle it. Look at the life that we relish. I'm telling it. I'm the star of the show and the regiment. Can't stop me, bro. Ain't no pedaling. Ain't no riding the wave. Staring right in your face. You know where I'm getting it. This ain't back in the days. Get ready for more and more. Ain't no meddling, no. Gotta know what my head is for sure. I had a show when I was young. I had my back on the ropes. Looking like I never had her on roll. In school of hard knocks. I get hard drops. Got drive even when the car stops. I done lost it. If they let me, ain't no get ready. When you stay ready, let's go.
Well, it's the end of match day 8 because, of course, we have one final go, one region to show what they've been cooking after Axel has dropped and Season 29 has jumped into the highest level of Apex play you can watch in the world. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rain Day. I'm joined by Spider Tiff and Bravo here on the cast. We had an amazing EMEA first action point of the day. That series was great and also gave us a lot of information on what it looks like for heading into the final match day next weekend. But Americas, they still have those questions, Tiff, and we're going to get to answer them here in the next 6 games.
Look, I hope so. It's going to be a really good time, and I couldn't be more excited to be back for Americas, right? Like, my first day on Split 1 was match day number 1. Here we are in match day number 8, and everything is so vastly different, and I can't wait to see who's going to be some of the early adapters.
Yeah, Brav, I mean, this is an opportunity again. You know, we've seen multiple times where teams on the bubble have not made the climb, but this is the last day. I mean, we may see it in Americas.
We really might. Like we've talked about across, especially these two regions, Europe and the Americas, there's so many teams that are, there's like a 5-way tie right now, an 11th coming into the weekend. It's just once again, anything can happen here on this match day, and there's going to be huge impacts regardless of exactly where they net out. There's going to be teams that are sent in each direction. It's going to be a good day for some, and like we saw in Europe, not such a good day for others.
And what that is going to maybe balance on is team's decision making, especially when you look at things that haven't been working coming into this split. A team that comes to mind is Free Thinkers, and highlighting the way that they've approached the game coming into it. It was all success, all happiness, and yet that started to dwindle out as we saw that it didn't commit much to their overall level of success. They got some fights, but weren't able to do it. Now with the Trident gone, Tiff, I'll start with you. Bravo, you can add a little bit onto whatever you're feeling, highlights and lowlights here from America so far. It feels like Free Thinkers may be one of the other teams that just need to adapt now and play a little bit of a different style.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, right? Because you mentioned the Trident removal, of course, the Deathbox revival, and the introduction of Axel. And I thought, for the most part, that a lot of these teams that were hyper aggro, not scared of these early fights, would actually be the ones that could navigate this change, especially with that pace of play. Brav, you and I mentioned it. But however, Free Thinkers, 18th overall on the day yesterday, not necessarily finding footing with it.
Yeah, well, tough day for them. We'll see what they can do. On the other side, you saw NIP with another great day, and we saw not just that, but a lot of great Axel play coming unsurprisingly out of Kuriv. I mean, you talk about what this guy can do pretty much with anything in his hands, and it's no surprise that he and also Sang were putting on shows. Look at this one, by the way. This is great because the main feed, we didn't get to see this angle from the main feed, as Sang is able to just see him in the bubble. Doesn't matter, just go ahead and pop him right up. And as we talked about being a bunker destroyer, Axel can certainly blow those baby comps wide open.
He hits the God roll on that 6-sided die, by the way, finds the actual knockup, and unfortunately then has to reload before he can actually shoot. So you want to make sure that timing is right. But Axel used all across Americas yesterday. We expect to see Axel again today. However, went away being unbanned. We'll talk a little bit about that beforehand. Obviously, the teams have their desired picks depending on the map, but the two players that have taken advantage of Axel so far, to me, it's Kuriv and Sang. Nice guys, Ninjas in Pyjamas. NIP on top of the lobby, a full commit to Axel, and Kuriv just being such a leader in this race for who's going to really take the cake of being the top Axel player in the Americas. But Sang, I mean, 12 kills overall yesterday. Tiff, Nice Guys is a team that people have had to pay attention to. Sang coming in with this new legend, also getting a boost where some teams are maybe falling a bit the other direction with Axel and not really understanding the meta.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Anytime Apex Legends introduces a new legend, I feel like that skill ceiling is so incredibly huge. And we usually do see some early adapters that like to dabble with them in comp. But
yeah,
for Kuriv and Sang to do so exceptional, I'm just waiting to see, okay, who else is going to be that? Because with A versus C, we typically get an Axel ban, so we'll see how long she lasts.
Yeah, and that's been the question. I think the hesitancy of adopting Axel, Brav, and it kind of shows up in the stats here, being unbanned, meaning that everybody's still not quite sure where, when, how, what, why to play Axel. And I think that also indicates, too, that there's other choices that are equally distinct and valuable, especially when you look at the maps yesterday and switching on to something like Olympus, where it just went all baby comp.
Yeah, and as we saw, it's all going to come down to game two, right? As you saw in Europe, it's only a one pick difference that decides that Ultra was banned in EMEA. It's going to be pretty similar here. If we're going to believe scrim trends, we're probably banking that it's more likely to be an Axel ban here coming into the Americas. I mean, we've seen as high as kind of game two. There's actually scrims this week where game two was 20 out of 20 Alter in the Americas. So certainly something we're going to be looking at for game number two.
And I was surprised about this because this patch also brought in nerfs to Alter, and I could tell earlier on just how a stream that's always open and is always playing and giving you current kind of thoughts on what he thinks about it, just saw him dying a lot, saw him hesitating a lot. That 5 seconds that are added onto the cooldown of the Alter tack, you got to understand these players have been playing with this character for months, maybe even a year now, and it's changing the stuff they don't have to think about it anymore. So I was expecting a dip, but she's still right there. Speaking of right there, Gibraltar Wraith got major buffs the season before Axel was released. Those buffs are still paying dividends. And these are the teams, Tiff, running the Baby Burger comp. We're calling them Baby Burger Kings right here.
Baby Burger Kings, oh my gosh. Like, I feel like that's gonna be such a major tongue twister, of course, like Godlike, Crazy Thieves, DK, Shopify Rebellion, Rock Esports. It's just wild to me. But I think having this like easy to play defensive comp that you can fall back on, that it makes really things difficult for other teams nearby to push you. Longevity in some of these games, especially on E-District, I think it's really vital knowing how chaotic that can be. And Watson's been typically getting banned out. So being able to rely on the Newcastle Gibby Valkyrie rotations, especially now that on Stormpoint you don't have those tridents. You're gonna need another thing aside from like the evac towers that we were seeing that have been like so prevalent in EMEA. They're always relying on those now, but
sure,
hey, adapt or die.
Or die. Yeah, I mean, pretty harsh to start the show. Adapt or die. I mean, really not giving them a lot of options. But that's where we are. That's where we are, honestly. She's right. And one team you might not expect to be on this graph because they're more of an aggressive team is Shopify Rebellion, but they've shifted their tone. In fact, they've shifted their whole mentality. For a group of guys that know they're probably one of the best fighting teams in the world, the humility it takes to shift into a zone team is something that doesn't go lightly, but it's something that's been very important, as Coach Don has said, to their current success.
All the games that we were playing with the same style we approached champs with just wasn't clicking for us. So during the break between week 2 and week 3, we decided to come together as a team and approach the game in a new way. It's been working great for us. The new game style that we've been playing, we've just been playing zone from in the early games instead of playing edge. People might see it as like a shock or like why is a team with like Shopify so much firepower playing zone, but as of right now, it's what's working for us.
I mean, you can see it from right there, Brav. I'll get a thought on you with Don and his reaction to making the change in Split 1. Didn't start off great match day 2 and 3, but since then, they've really been on a roll.
Yeah, certainly. It was a start that you would not expect from these three without a doubt, and they have found new form, 3rd and 5th back-to-back, like you say. And I think also on the topic of zone, it's worth noting they had been at launch for the past few weeks for our game number 1. They've actually had launch stolen out from them by Nemesis, so they're actually going to just be dropping cascades. So for a zone team, it's really a great place to be. We'll see if they can make something out of the match day, because boy, do they ever need it. One of those teams that was tied for 11th coming into the weekend.
Well, 11th, you're kind of teeing up another team we'll talk about in a second. Full 11 there on my mind, in my mind's eye, on your screen as we take a look at Group A versus C. The winners of the very first match day here now have a lot to do. But before we jump into that, I mean, we have some changes too. Thuggets getting Kimchi in, Dan Mantic out, and also Revival having Riley, January, and Mello now fill out that squad. Notably, Burke is a coach that joined in full 11. And looking at these Pro League standings, Tiff, I want to get your top-down view of this squad, because I've mentioned full 11. They've got work to do. After that first win, they're in 18th place, just trying to hold on and find a way to make regional finals.
Yeah, I think like when you realize that you won match day 1, bounce back with a last place on that next match day, and now you found yourself like on the cusp of potential relegation, you really have everything to gain in this moment and nothing to lose. Now, mind you, a match day win is 25 points. You're coming in towards the end of Split 1, and we have 41 total points. So half of your points are from one match day.
Yeah,
Over.
more than half.
Yeah.
25, and they've only got 16 added to that. So it's just been, they couldn't really figure it out. Brav as well, Source Gaming and Elite NA, they played yesterday. They've slowly climbed. Have they done enough, though? It's going to be the test. Probably two of the biggest storylines to watch on the bubble.
Yeah, worth noting, Source, without, of course, all matches filled in from this exact round robin, they did come in 27th, so they have managed to jump quite a few spots while we await the results from today itself. And if you look at Elite, they're kind of right around the same plot, even dropping a spot. So those two teams need a very, very big day without a doubt. They've had tough scrims this week. Maybe they can turn it around here, though, on the match day.
I do think Source and Elite, after the way they played yesterday, they should be feeling confident. They did what they needed to do. I think a 3rd or 4th place from Source yesterday's games. If they can replicate that somehow, I'm sure they'll be in regional finals, maybe starting to get themselves close to a good regional finals performance, and maybe on points qualifying for that top 12. But a lot of work to do, guys, and it's time to get started. Group A, our final series of our doubleheader this weekend, about to begin. Brav, Tiff, let's get going with game 1.
Oh my gosh, game 1 is here. I know the EMEA region, Brav, flew by, but if you guys are just tuning in here for North America, here's your map rotation for our 6-game series. We will kick things off for the first 3 matches over on Storm Point before moving on to E District, which is where a lot of those legend comps that Brav's been talking about is going to be. It's going to be interesting, right? With what gets banned. Do we get the altar? Do we get the axle? Which one happens in match 2?
Yeah, that really is all eyes, of course, on that match 2. And like kind of you pointed out earlier, Tiff, after that, it gets really interesting with the timing speaking of the Maggie ban, the Watson ban, of course, the Maggie ban greatly influencing how much Gibby Newcastle we see. There feels like in a lot of splits, you have kind of a few questions. It feels like there's even more than that, where the ban order and the pick order could really go in different directions depending on exactly how things go in today's rotation.
Well, we got the POI draft as well for Storm Point here with the removal of Tridents here. You saw a lot of that change go through yesterday, but it continues here today with what our teams are drafting.
Yeah, there's some really interesting ones here that we'll quickly point out. By the way, Mill was very late in the Americas as well. GK gets Mill in 14th instead of 4th average. Very, very late pick without a doubt. Also, I want to point out Gamblers at East Trail. That's only, I believe, across all regions this split, only the second East Trail pick. The Gamblers deciding to opt for no beacon, no console. They're just going to see what they can do on the eastern side of the map.
East Trail. I had to like think. I was like, what the heck?
Where the hell is East Trail?
People go East Trail. Like the only trail I know was the Oregon Trail. But okay, sure, we'll go all the way on to the eastern side of things. But let's get locked in, baby. Storm Point. We are so close to the end of Split 1 and locking in our teams that are going to be advancing to LAN in Paris. Can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Speaking of a team that probably points-wise has already qualified, that's going to be Sentinels, who is mid-map. And I want to point out today, it's a pretty special POI draft for them. They are drafted at Jurassic as well as Vibe Isle. Those are their champs drops, by the way. They're exactly where they want to be. That was the match point finals drops for that team. So to see Sen play from the same spot, you know they're going to have those timings on those central POIs, and we'll see if they can make something special happen today as well.
Ooh, okay. I love that. If we're getting champs drops, we are really kind of wanting to make that magic here, and I can't wait to see what is going to happen here. We talked about a lot of our teams that are in kind of that do or die situation. Well, the best time is now to start things off, so let's get into the dropship. Let's get into match number 1. Now, we did see a lot of early fighting in EMEA with that, especially around North Pad. I don't think we're going to get that because we don't really have a big collapse up there unless Free Thinkers for some reason decides to get some information and go on the run.
Yeah, I tell you what, yeah, I could see a little bit of them pushing out a checkpoint. We have seen some fast timings. It's good that you bring it up. We've seen some very fast timings as we start things with Shopify. As we said, they're playing from Cascades. They're not playing from launch like we've seen since Axel dropped in Season 29. We watched Shopify drop at launch week after week. Instead, that's stolen, by the way. Nemesis grabs launch early, 5th instead of the 12th average pick for launch site, so that's clearly targeted. It means Shopify is going to start with Cascade and Spiders up here, and they make their way, as you said, from zone. But worth noting on the other side, CRT has been leaving DB very fast. We're going to keep an eye on that exit timing as well.
Ooh, that's actually a good mention. If you're going to be talking about down beast, it's always curious what kind of circle are we going to be seeing. In EMEA, we did pull a down beast zone, but it did go towards the head and more out in the open. And it's been really interesting because in EMEA, we had a couple maps where people were actually making kind of a wrong call of where the circle was going to pull. And it made for some really fun end games for us. Not necessarily the players that had to rotate a counter call, but, you know, for us, it was good.
Absolutely was. Shopify's going to be immediately making that move. You can see off of Cascade as they're heading west, and for very good reason, as teams are already knowing that we're going to be heading to maybe a pretty similar zone from EMEA. This one going straight west, and everyone kind of trying to get through these chokes as early as they can.
And it's interesting to see how quickly Shopify does it, right? Considering we had talked, or we had listened to Don talk about how they were playing zone. And when you look at Zainu, Koifel, these are two heavy-hitting fraggers that you really wouldn't expect, but they've been doing so well taking those early and nice fights in zone.
Now here's Source Gaming, also still a little bit further out, just making the move that they need to as well. We talked about Source with a big move to jump 6 spots after yesterday's performance, and going to try to put up another big day on their side as well.
All right. Gamblers. Okay, we talked about the East Trail drop. We didn't really get to see too much from them at the start of this, but it is literally just Adavant left, which means we are gambling on the fact that East Trail actually didn't go so well for them.
I'm not going to lie. By the way, it was only VGK, I believe, that had also, only VKG that had decided to pick an East Trail pick wildly in APAC as well. It's hard to say, especially when you look at kind of Trident, of course, being an option, Bean being an option, even center map if you need to play Lift. Like, there's so many options before East Trail, and as you said, didn't pay off for them here.
Yeah, Well, hey, they're stuck with it for another 2 games. Maybe those will go well for Sentinels, right? We talked about some of their drops here, and well, this is really nice. They can make their way just north of Mill, bypassing it, of course. With the timings changed and Shopify playing zone, they're actually going to be very close to one another. Shout out to that free cam. You can see they've got the building, but just on the other side, Shopify is there. Rock gonna get some information up at checkpoint where Team Liquid is now currently in Cedo.
Yeah, take a look at this poll. A lot of teams banking on, of course, those westernmost back mill buildings slash the rocks that are just over a little bit of that water. We've seen quite a bit of this. This is just a bit off of what we saw in EMEA. We've seen quite a lot of this in scrims lately. You want to play this from the DB side, as you can see here on the cam. The best walk-ins are going to be DB side. Anything that tries to move from mill is a lot more difficult. If you can get one of those back mill buildings, you'll take it. But most teams, it looks like, Tiff, will have to settle for kind of DB and playing from the north.
Ooh, okay. And here's Team Liquid, just on the south side of Mill, kind of looking for an entry. And Wingman in hand on the side, because that's going to be a nice way. There goes the Nitro Gate, the zoom, and we circle around, just trying to lay their eyes straight on them. And there it is. A little boop, a little knock. And next thing you know, things are going to be really open here for them on this engagement.
Yeah, really nicely done there. Honestly, as long as you get 2, it feels like as long as you get 2 guns early enough on an Axel ult, teams have very quickly picked up that you can really take that out of the fight. It has to be really well timed from the other side to make a big difference. So it will be those initial kills coming in. Not a full wipe just yet, but Liquid will be comfortable here, just taking the mill building for now.
Yeah, you're right. I was like looking at our mini map. We do have a ton of teams that have moved into that down beast area. We have full 11 kind of on the furthest side of north and kind of holding this building. We did see that we're just looking for a lot of that information. I was curious who was going to be the potential ban. Crypto, 18 picks, and things are getting crazy.
We saw earlier just slamming the door on the drone worked as well. Not as easy when there's a drone coming straight through the doorway. However, so take a look also at the nuts are going to be an important battle here. This is, of course, a little bit further south. This is the Liquid Thuggets battle that you were watching the beginning of. And, of course, the nuts that are down here just to the north of Cenote, these are already going to be out. However, they will be able to play from here to try to control this space.
Yeah, I think the fact is that they just waltzed through Mill, grabbed a pickup, and they're kind of just working to see, hey, is there potentially someone out here? If not, we've got some loot. We can control this space. There's not too many teams from the southern side of things that are going to look to rotate up through the water unless someone goes for a massive wide wrap, which very well could happen.
Yeah, here comes Liquid coming just a bit off of that, by the way. There still is quite a bit. There's Sentinels, Revival, and Buckle Boys all at Mill, and you can tell that Liquid knows that. They need to be careful right now. I don't mind the idea of just kind of keeping their south out. By the way, they haven't finished the Thuggets fight, so that is not over just yet. But Team Liquid is going to try to play this edge as long as they can.
It's definitely a slower paced lobby than what we saw in EMEA, because for the first like 3 to 5 minutes of our Stormpoint matches, we had that big battle in Northpad, but we don't have that here. The most chaotic moments we have are some of the picks that happen just on some early rotations to zones. So teams are playing the long game, focusing on the setups, especially with the Buckle Boys here. Just you got the caustic pick, we're barreling up, and that's great, but it can be very interesting to catch fights out on rotation when people are kind of camped up in zone.
Way outside of wall, it's going to be Source and Gamblers, and Gates coming in from Kates as they're going to go ahead and take space down, just kind of move into No Name / Cascades, and you're going to see TL actually making their move off of Nuts, so that's going to provide an opening maybe for Revival to get the little bit of finish. And Panic, it gets caught out. If I had to guess, they're trying to split hold there, and Panic just kind of playing maybe off, probably playing the other nut. Didn't get to see the entire fight, but as you saw, the other two are able to take port. He's not able to. Certainly gets down before it, and that means Team Liquid now is going to have to figure out how to reset here right around Godrock.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, right? Team Liquid's kind of been frolicking around, you know, the mill. They push out down towards the southwestern side of things, and it's like they're just like looking for loot, looking for picks. We lose out on Panic, who is their Axel player, which forces them into a negative rotate situation to try and maybe get that reset, because they're not going to have access to the death box.
Yeah, absolutely, and just like Rain was talking about, a little bit of extra timing on an Ultra TP can be the difference and determine if you actually make it back with your team or not. Waiting for the EMP to hit, so Koi will heal up right away immediately. This is, by the way, right in the center of the action on the buildings that we talked about. This is the mill buildings. There's only 3 of them, and they're going to go very quick, so Shopify wants to do everything they can to hold this. They were one of the first there. Keep in mind, coming from pretty far out, they've made this zone call, but this is going to be tough. Koi left with about 2 HP and a dream.
Yeah, this one's hurting, and it's ticking, and the nades, the indicators are there. The knockdown shield, sure. We're hoping for a flawless execution. Cool. We get that off. Maybe we can get another syringe. But the fact is, it's going to be really tough for them to cross and send this. So they're investing all of their nades, all of the abilities to try and make something happen. And again, we go. For Shopify Rebellion, hearing from Dawn and saying, hey, playing zone, it's what works for us.
Yeah, you can tell they're trying to play a zone here. And 1 HP, Koi again knocked down to a little bit more than that. But truly, as Sen has been pressuring on 1 HP in the corner, even though we saw gas indicator somehow lives through that. And get a glance at DB. It's going to be CRT on your screen, who's trying to maybe get a little bit of extra damage here, but going to have also a TP set. So they'll have to think about what their move looks like. It's going to be a pretty big one south, but they're getting dropped on here by Freethinkers.
Yeah, they really are. We were talking about how aggressive they are in these early game fights. They're not scared to take them, and Verhulst on that altar gets dropped. Now, Jen, with the 30-30, is trying to provide some of that overlaying support before they disappear into that altar portal. Now, they do have access. They just got to deliver them to Beacon and maybe hit the reset. But those things go up like an actual beacon of light where everyone's like, okay, they're down, people. They're going to get Verhulst back. But at what cost, considering there's so many teams here?
Yeah, Phony hits it on the crypto. I love how Verhulst had to just actually gate out because he's like, there's no height clearance anywhere around. I actually need to reposition this, and they're going to be thankful for a game 1 crypto to be able to get that reset. And speaking of high places, it's going to be actually Godlike, how fittingly, on the God Rock for now.
This is our God Rock, and Godlike lives here. And we've got a crypto that is EMPing us, so an immediate bub action in case something crazy gets full sent, right? We maintain, pop a couple shield cells, and keep the pressure going forward. You see Thugger just below, and we lose out on the shield, and we get knocked. Not before the trade comes through, though.
It's going to be Slayer going right away for the fast res, and the drag will be able to get him up. And lot to talk about with this team here. Godlike right now outside of land qualification. As we've said, they have leaned in to playing that baby comp. And now Liquid, who has reset, they want a piece of this action as well.
Yeah, it's definitely paying off. If you're comfortable on that baby burger comp or whatever we were talking about earlier, just let it go. And Team Liquid panic back in. They set their sights forward. DINOS eliminated, MT down, and Zero is just going to keep barreling forward, alter queuing across the way. Do we get our full? Not quite yet, but it's inevitable.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind, this is, you're seeing, once again, it's a full commit. Never go full baby comp. As they go baby comp game number 1, and they're up against an Alter Axel crypto comp, which is designed for something very, very different. And now Team Liquid wants even more here as they continue to fight it.
That was nasty, the tracking on that. Okay, and for now we see another successful fight out of Team Liquid as Thuggets exit the lobby. Gamblers and Shopify Rebellion join them. Honestly, I'm shocked it wasn't sooner for Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, we got a lot of company here. By the way, this is way off. If we talk about this, is so far southeast of Mill, as it's now going to be Nemesis, Liquid, Revival, and the remains of Godlike all fighting out here at Bean.
Yeah, this is nasty because we've got to get forward. And you know the teams that are anchored down in Mill or the buildings just on the outside are going to look to gatekeep these squads. So for Team Liquid, what they're going to do is actually advance on and say, we are going straight to Mill. Good look at the map here. We were just on board with Team Nemesis that are the furthest team down towards the southeast.
Yeah, taking a look, it's going to be Liquid who actually gets out of that right away. Look how fast Liquid actually decides to take a Mill building because they're like, we're not really interested in all this. Nemesis is going to continue to wrap. The only thing they'll have to worry about to their south, of course, is the Godlike reset, but this gives us an idea of the lay of the land. There's still so much to happen at DB. Like I said, teams are going to just try to win the battles there at DB. Right now, there is only 3 buildings and only 3 teams fittingly in the final zone currently. That's GK, Elite, and Sentinels.
Oh, here's another EMP. We were talking about Kurev, especially on the Axel gameplay and how he's one of the better ones that have adapted early. Takes a brunt force of damage, but it allows Cole and Vayne to kind of swarm in and provide the remaining that we need. 1 HP, one's going to make their escape, but we swing on in with the alternator, and we have to keep our eyes out because Kurev does get traded out here.
Yeah, really well done as well to keep an eye on the back of the queue. That's going to be Kate's down, even probably a full fin here coming in from Vayne, so it will be just pings coming down. They should be able to wipe this shortly, as it is going to be a 3v2 as long as they get the reset. But Source has an option here. If they want to try to stay, they can. They could just try to take the southern choke, but there's already teams like Buckle Boys on the building just outside of that choke.
Very true. We see the reset coming in from Kurev, so we want to make sure that we allow him time to get back to a space, and Kate's coming in as well. So a nice little trade back up to a 3v3. The only thing that is stopping them to continue this fight is time. So what do we see? Ninjas and Pyjamas are diving full send straight into the choke. If I'm Source Gaming, I'm going south. South is going to be interesting because you could potentially run into Buckle Boys who've been there in that building since the start of the map. But Team Liquid moved into Mill and are looking solid. Let's get on the comms with them.
I'm in pin. All right. I'm in left. Come left. Get in. Coming. I put my TP out. Healing.
Got a hold for me. You got a hold. Bro, I'm done.
Where's the mic? Back up. I keep on.
All here.
I get up. I'm ready. Crack. I'm batting. Back door. I'm batting on bottom. I got bottom. Can we chill, maybe? Come out. Yeah. Coming. Come on this way. Party this way to the party. Just send it. I think the party's still. Just send it, okay? Send building. I'm killing up. Fight. Timmy. Oh. She's fucked. They're resing. They're knocked on stairs. I'm fighting stairs. Cracked on it. Yeah. I'm sitting in gas. I'm dead to gas.
Use terms. Bro, they're just peeking out the door.
Out the front right door?
Well, we're gonna have to talk about that later because job's not done for the teams, and that was a little bit of a mess. Revival on your screen tries to do a little bit of the same of what we just saw Team Liquid do, bruv.
Yeah, it's just January and Riley now trying to finish up the Buckle Boys battle. Buckle Boys, the team that just held that building, and then were there ever caustic barrels waiting for them in that building? That's going to be Buckle Boys eliminated. It is Revival that wins the last wipe on those builds. They will be able to now move their way in from those buildings just outside of Mill.
And you know what? The Mill is empty because everyone sent the Buckle Boys building now on to full 11 to JD Gaming, just kind of perusing through all of these POVs because all the teams in the Down Beast area, we've got to rotate south. And there were some early adapters there, but there's going to be some carnage to try and get to them.
NIP, by the way, getting another reset as there's going to be 2 players coming in for them as they're still trying to just outside the checkpoint choke make it happen. JD Gaming has eyes on this and they're going to want to make sure they can feast on maybe a little bit extra KP. Here comes Korev. He is in trouble, and now it's going to be a knock for floating.
Yep, Kiev down, Vayne down, and Ninjas and Pyjamas to the lobby we go. Down to our final 10 teams with Shubi still on the ground for JD Gaming. It's Naughty and Floating that are in a full send straight into zone. It's just going to be really open, which is a great way to kick off match day number 8 for Americas.
Yeah, JDG's biggest threat is actually Revival. We just saw the battle that was ending. Revival's going to be still right around the edge of Mill. They're going to be sending, but speaking of sending here, it's ROC trying to hold, and they will be able to do so on CRT, who is trying to make their way in. That means that ROC now really has that northeast to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand if you're going to stick together and deathball into the next zone, but it's truly ending in death for a lot of these rotations towards. Now, Floating has a knockdown shield, a couple nades coming the way, and Rock, who just got done with CRT, have now set their sights on JD Gaming.
Oh boy, and that's it. Cannot get out of that. Floating trying to play Nox, and they can't even start the res. They get taken down right away. They will go down at the hands, as you see, of a few teams. ROC is going to be the one that picks up a few of those KP, and now it's, like we said, just going to come down to these 3 buildings. By the way, all of them are still in, as GK is going to make sure that Team Vision is eliminated. All the 3 buildings are still in, and then it's just ROC who does not have a building.
Well, they got a building and they're going to return straight to it to go ahead and heal up. Yeah, you're right. Rock Esports is out kind of on their lonesome. Sentinels still have a building, but they're going to need to move. And you have Godlike and Elite NA coexisting. And I'd imagine that we're going to see a lot of people look on their cooldowns and say, what kind of resources do I have for this end game? And who has to move first? Right now, it's obviously Sentinels, and the full send is here.
Yeah, got to give huge credit to Godlike. By the way, the last time we checked in with them, they were in dire straits getting sent on at Mill, and somehow they've made their way. I think, by the way, somehow, I think we know exactly how Valkyrie was probably involved. They made their way to this top build. Now Sentinel's trying to stay alive outside playing the low ground.
I mean, the fact that all of them are still up, and as soon as I say that, a frag takes down Blinkster, which is going to be the opening that Elite NA needs. For Rock Esports, you're like, hey, I just moved in the building Sentinels have. I'm going to buy my time here and see what I have, right? We see a cooldown being managed Axel ult is up. Nitro gates are here, and we are looking to clear out Sentinels.
Well, here comes, as you said, double Nitro gate pad coming in. That's going to be Sentinels finished as they now start to look at holding the low ground here. It's going to be just GK in their own building and 3 teams, as you say, coexisting in this build here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem peaceful coexisting. We see Sentinels getting fooled, and Elite immediately full sends onto Rock. They drop Cersei, and it's Sauce and Vax that have to withstand. Now Godlike trying to get into the mix. Now, mind you, they were on high ground, but they're going to drop down. I hear a Devo, and it's going to haunt my nightmares, and Rock Esports is out.
Yeah, even though Godlike loses MT, they will be able to still hold the high ground here, which is going to be big for them. It's Elite below them, just Godlike and Elite in this build, and GK commanding the most space playing in this build. And as you can see, Knocked and Dropped also split holding off.
And they don't have to be super aggro on this, right? But you do want to get involved to grab some of these kills in endgame. We're into the top 3. We've got nades. I see 2 in the hands of Dropped alone. We have ult avail, so we've got plenty of resources to navigate this. We don't basically want to scam.
Also, Keon and Drone, if you've watched and listened to any of the GK or DKK and prior rosters, Keon and the Drone is going to be giving them not only so much info, but really just specifics about where there might be a knock they can play. Eyes in the sky, of course. They'll also be in scans the entire time. So as you say, they really are set up for success here.
And props to Elite NA for holding the inside of this building, right? They have Sentinels that tries to lay siege to them. Then they get Rock Esports, and we're still a full team of 3. Sure, our resources, not necessarily a plenty, but we do have about 4 bats throughout 2 of them. So we're good. We're chilling.
The timing of Keon's EMP is going to be so interesting because he has all the time in the world here, right? Everything to play for. They can just wait for the exact perfect EMP, but they're going to want to time this perfectly, obviously, with the third party. At the moment, also, Caden's Caustic, as you see, here comes the ult. They're going to be looking for that. And right away, they go back to claim their space. Drop wants to make sure he can take the height, and they don't get landed on. Really nicely done to split that and make sure he still holds the height on their rooftop.
Yeah, I'm curious what Godlike's planning on doing, right? Because they're the ones that were the big question mark. So they were kind of all turtled up on the backside of the building. They take to the skies, they look for info, and you've got Knocked and Dropped playing this fence line, just waiting for an opening. And as everything kind of starts to collapse around them, they hold the majority of the space. There's that EMP you were talking about, and yeah, it connects to a couple, electrified bubble down, but now we've got to get inside the building.
Yeah, absolutely. That might have also been, that might have been even the dig EMP as well, as they were trying to maybe buy some space and try to get out of this. And it's going to be also, as you see, ults going down and getting ready to time their move out. This one's not going to be easy. They've got Caustic to play with, but not a lot of building left.
There it is, some barrels to really cause the chaos on the outside. You gotta do what you gotta do, right? And there we are, but another EMP being expended. Keon takes a brunt of damage, dropped half health as well, wants to focus on the med kit, and now we see the trades come through just ahead of them. Knocked is gonna start opening the door, swarming in, well-timed reload, and big damage for GK as they take the win here in game number 1.
Oh my word, you saw the Axel ult come out, and guess what? It sent everything. I think the remaining parts of both teams sky high. It'll get 25 damage on everyone, and also anyone who was left just fell down into absolute death ball, and it was a very easy, calm, cooled, and collected hold from GK in the late game that will close out game number 1.
Look, it was impressive. Well done to Knocked, Keon, and Dropped. They actually see kind of everything happening, but controlling the one side of that circle for the end game, it bodes them so well. Sending out Knocked and Dropped, just kind of looking on that fence line, keeping angles, and playing resource and ability management. Look, it's ability legends at this point at that end game, right?
It really is. And also, I gotta say, Dropped nitro gating back to his rooftop was amazing to watch, because the second they hear the Valk ult, no one even thinks about shooting the Valk ult. Drop just absolutely hits the gate, by the way, which was pre-laid, flies to the rooftop, and you have to think on the side of Godlike, they were thinking about stealing that rooftop because they knew exactly where GK was holding. Instead, they deny that completely, and they make sure that they have the control of the game heading into the endgame.
And it's still a good performance from Godlike, right? They grab 6 kills. It's a 15-point game. Even Elite NA walk away with 7 kills for 14. So we're still all in that point spread. JD Gaming grabbed 9 kills and finished in 7, so grab double digits points as well. But get back in here, Rain Day, a lot to chat about after that game 1.
Yeah, my thought is actually one that settles me into a bit of confidence around GK. Ooh, because I feel like Keon and the way that his roster with Furia, and don't get me wrong, a very talented roster. You know, you got Vax, you got Madness, and you have potential there. But the fit, maybe not the right fit for the style they wanted to play. They were an amazing zone team, but some of those guys, you know, didn't translate to being able to execute that way consistently. Now you look at Dropped and Knocked, former Optic and Drop as well. And these guys playing with Skittlecakes. Well, Skittlecake's one of the best players who know how to navigate zones in the ALGS still. And yet they couldn't find that third that really fit into the energy they were trying to approach. To me, this is like 3 guys that want to play the game the same way, and they do it so well that way that it's not even a question, what are we going to do? We're going to play Edge? We're going to... No, they know what they're doing, and that's how you get those little moments, like you said, Brav. They're so aware of, hey, we're holding, like the Nitro Gate back, top floor, stopping that, and those are the little things that in those games take it from a Blessed when an EMEA holding a building gets second place, and a GK Esports who know exactly what they're doing get first place because they're kings of the castle. Don't let them get in. That's the only avenue you have to deal with them. I love that team. I love that win. Those are my quick thoughts, but I know a guy who has some quick thoughts that have a lot more viewers than I do when I have mine. He in fact manages a way to make everything look interesting when it comes to Apex Legends gameplay, and he does it without showing his face. It's the Apex Legends Clip King, Caution. What's up, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I am doing well. You know, it's always great to have the community highlighted, but you are a particularly you're a particular highlight because you are so many highlights. You yourself deliver so many highlights to so many people. I've always been a fan, you know, someone's come from content of the unique approach you've taken to how to find your niche, how to make your vision of what content looks like be successful. And I know you've talked about it too, to encourage other people to say, it's not impossible. This is all you got to do. Talk to me a little bit about your journey, you know, getting to become this person, the Caution that we know and love as an Apex content creator.
Yeah, I would say not much thought went into it. Just kind of someone who enjoyed making content. And over the years, I just kind of got better at doing what I enjoy. So there was never like a thought of like, I should do this or be that and it'll be successful. It was more of just kind of like how anyone, their everyday gaming sessions. And then I just kind of learned how to edit and flow things. And through trial and error, you just get better over time.
I love that, right? It's just being consistent, trial and error, learning and all that. And look, it seems to me like you've been here forever. I just know, Caution, I saw you at Red Bull Legends Inn. Like you've just been a staple in the content scene. But I need the lore. I need the beginning. What day did you like wake up and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to stream. I'm going to create content. Take me back to that moment because I don't know it.
Yeah, no, it was a day when I hated myself. That was for sure. Because I was just, you know, working a job I didn't like, doing things I wasn't exactly proud of. And yeah, I remember my mom is a closed captioner, which means from home she types on a keyboard and you can see the captions on your TV live while she's doing it.
Wow,
and she did a show that was like on the news or something. They talked about how Ninja and like streaming on Fortnite. And she like she like called me and was like, you know, oh, I saw like Ninja's doing well with video games. Like, I know you love doing that stuff. Like, what if you started streaming and stuff? And like, I was like, yeah, like I'm down, you know, because like I was hating my job and stuff. I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And then, yeah, so just started from there, probably like right before Apex.
Amazing. Cool. Tell me, Caution, what you've been thinking. We've already seen some crazy clips, but your thoughts on actual season 29 so far, how everything's going?
I mean, I love Apex. I love this game. The map rotation is part of the reason I'm depressed. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Pathfinder is kind of in the gutter, so that also adds to the sadness. But I mean,
justice for Path.
Yeah. Hopefully soon. I mean, they teased a buff and then it disappeared, you know? So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But overall with Axel, I think she's fun. I think I love movement, but at the moment, it just feels a little too overtuned with how teams can hunt anyone down and how they're all over the map. But I do have fun playing her. That stuff aside.
Caution, before we wrap here, it's our first time to really chat with you since the big news broke out about your living situation and kind of the reset that you had to go through. Obviously, we've been sending you our well wishes and the best. I know the community was, you know, very, very supportive of you during that time. Is there anything that the takeaway from that? I mean, we hope you're doing well. We hope everything's settled again. Can you just let us know that all is up and up? Are you still dealing with any of that, or is it kind of are you smooth sailing now that you're headed into the rest of this year?
Yeah. So yeah, just a long story short, for those who don't know, like for some reason the girl below me burnt down the whole apartment complex one day. So I just kind of like lost everything overnight. It was pretty crazy. But honestly, yeah, like you wouldn't expect this many people to step up when you're going through something. But I had, people from Twitter, like different brands, like Team Falcons, 100 Thieves. They sent me like clothes, shoes, hats. Apex sent me stuff as well.
Cool.
Razer sent me some gear. So it was like, I basically just had to deal with the mental aspect of it, and everything else was kind of, people really stepped up and supported, and just too many messages to get to. But yeah, overall, I'd say now, for the most part, we're moved past it. Great living situation. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't still like, mental days where you're kind of dealing with it. But for the most part, yeah, everything's great, and we bounce back. So.
Hey man, it's an incredible story, and the way you've handled it, it's been top tier, and obviously shows that outside of the content side, you're doing well as a human being. It's not easy for any person on this planet to go through, and I know this Apex community's got your back. So thank you for being resilient, and my wish is there's much more in the future for you of good tidings coming your way, man.
Thanks, Ray. I guess last thing I just want to say real quick, as far as the content stuff. It's nothing special. Anyone can do it. I just feel like people give up before it's their time. You just have to make content. Don't even overthink what you make. It's just, you'll get better each week that you make stuff. So just keep doing it.
Love it, man. At Caution, is that where everyone's tracking you? For those who don't know, I know many people in this community already know where to find you. Where can they find you?
Yeah, for those who care, just type in Caution on your preferred platform and something will pop up.
With a 7 as the T.
Yes.
That's right. All right, Caution, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and hopefully get back to making those clips that I'm sure we'll be seeing on broadcast or somewhere on our Apex feeds very, very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for the platform. I appreciate you guys.
All right, Caution. What a story, and I think particularly a story of resilience through adversity, guys. I mean, it very much parallels on a human level what a lot of the players have to deal with today in this final few games here before we switch maps and end the series doubleheader. But just to recap on, put a button on the Caution story, just an amazing young man to be able to keep his head high during something like that.
Yeah. No, I'm going to completely agree with it. It's really tough. And I love that he said you don't have to be amazing. It's not anything special. You just have to keep going. And I think that can apply to literally, obviously Apex Legends, obviously to content creation, but anything in your life. I follow Supercross outside of this, or Super Motocross, whatever you want to call it. And we just had a guy win a championship, and it took him 7 years, I believe, to get back into the top upper echelon of it and hoist that trophy. And it was really cool to see. So your time is coming. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be in a week, but it'll be here.
Without a doubt, as we get right now for game number 2, and I tell you what, match number 1, what a game that was, Tiff. I mean, just the fact that we got to see everything kind of kick off the way it did. Wait, we're losing rain, right?
I don't know. I'm laughing because I feel like I just went so deep in life, and it's like, welcome to the Tiff Talk, life lessons with me. Meanwhile, we just need to get back into it. At least we got ninjas and pajamas up at Zeus. I thought it was going to be you and Rain, but look, you're here with me. You want some more life lessons?
Bring them on. Let's go. We're going to need them. And I tell you what, a few teams might need some moral support and life lessons as well, depending on exactly how this one goes. And I'm so excited, I think, first of all, to check in what you and I have been talking about for the entire series. And guess what? It's going to be Axel and Alter coming within 1 pick in game number 2. And in the Americas, it will be Axel 17 picks over Alter 16. So once again, in both regions being decided by 1 pick. This time, though, it will be Axel the most picked in game number 2.
Still aggressive. Let's go ahead and hear it from Cole from Ninjas and Pajamas on that Kurev aggroness.
I mean, Kurev's Kurev. He's really good. I think he's the best MK player in Pro League right now, or in the world, honestly. He's just super aggressive, and I mean that's just what me and Vane needed on the team, and he fit in perfectly for it.
Those are some words, yeah. Bravo, right there. He's the best MNK player here. He's the best MNK player in the world.
big calls as well. And I got to say, I've been watching a lot of NIP scrims, which I'll get to in just a second. And they have a lot of confidence, a lot of reason to have the confidence, of course, with how they've done this year. Great to hear, though, teammates kind of gassing you up like that as we take a look at what will almost certainly be kind of a Cascade zone. It feels like it's dead center right over Cascade Falls. And we've seen a lot of the older zones that go just along the waterfall, right in between Bridge and kind of the big wheel. And I wouldn't be surprised if we headed there again.
Ooh, okay. Some little call-outs from Bravo where he thinks it's going. Now, Team Liquid going to be one of those early adapters to getting towards that next circle, which is going to be interesting because we saw some really nice fights out of them at match number 1 before we saw their utter demise. And I'm just going to leave it at that because we really didn't get a chance to break down their ending. And it was crazy. We literally full send into a building after losing Sykes, and there's just too many caustic barrels to even get out of.
Yeah, look at Elite already being kind of bullied out. They thought they might be able to join the Cascade Falls party, but instead they're kind of just relegated over here more towards the no-name Oasis side, as they're going to have to maybe reevaluate the strategy. They tried to wrap straight into kind of the big builds and market. Instead, they're going to be right here, a little bit of a checkpoint hold. They'll need to think about how they want to wrap, even maybe thinking about a wrap all the way around the other side on Spiders.
Ooh, okay. Well, Free Thinkers, 2 points from game number 1. We'll be looking for some good fights here.
Yeah.
And we talked about the fights that we saw in the north over in EMEA, but I feel like Negative is just kind of skirting to see, hey, is there something going on over here? Is there anyone left? Don't mind me, just doing a little looting.
Yeah, just popping the hands up, and they're thinking maybe they could get involved with Team Vision. Team Vision actually wants nothing to do with it, by the way, and unsurprisingly, they're actually going to wrap and rotate back into checkpoints. So Free Thinkers will have kind of all of this area, armory, as well as the nuts if they do want to, not just scrap loot, by the way. It's worth mentioning there that Trident is unpicked, so they're also kind of getting a full loot rotate there of all of Trident as well as we take a look at checkpoint for the first time, but now back to where we could be heading, and a lot of teams are kind of placing their bets on that.
Yeah, back to Team Liquid, right? Some of these early game fights, it's kind of interesting to see what we're going to do. Now, we do have Sykes that's going to be on Seer, Panic still on that Axel, and Zero, the Altar. I like Zero on Altar. It makes sense. We know historically he's kind of played some of these movement legends where you can feel confident on it, and it really lends into their play style, especially when we got that listen from them, how he's like, just full send, full send, full send. They should be weak, right? So you know that's going to lean into a lot of the things that we see. Will it be straight onto Buckle Boys? I feel like we need vengeance from map number 1.
Oh boy, here's what you get when you have two teams that are nitrogating towards each other on the UAV build, and that's going to be quite a battle here developing between Buckle Boys and Liquid. Buckle Boys thought maybe they'd get a jump on that. Instead, they're just going to hold for just a second. They don't really get the damage off either the shots or the ult that they would have wanted to start the fight.
Okay, well, at least we have the Watson to maybe start some fences up to prevent them from maybe diving in on the southern side of things. I do like that we have Sykes, Panic, and Zero kind of stepping back into a different building, like, hey, maybe there's a different approach. But however, we know that a lot of our teams are going into Cascades, and multiple teams have arrived here. Now, we still have Melio down. Looks like Riley just got picked back up to play alongside January here, and we've got an influx of these nades that are coming through the window.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning here, of course, only being in game number 2. This is going to be a Cascades late game with Altar in play, so it's going to keep things very, very interesting. These buildings would play so much differently if this was later in the series where you wouldn't have an Altar in these games. Instead, teams like where you just saw Elite earlier, they're going to be able to hit double Qs into buildings and things like that. So these buildings will be a lot less safe than they sometimes normally are later in a series.
Interesting as well as we have Shopify Rebellion. Obviously, they land Cascade, so curious to see what their kit looks like in terms of their resources that they were able to get before teams started moving in. But the Watson playing the fences allows, you can see full 11 down here on kind of closest to us on the screen. You've got Legatron, and so they're just really fencing up. JD Gaming is going to move in as well. But this is going to be interesting because a lot of our teams are just going to poke, prod, until someone decides to full send. And luckily, Crypto did get banned in map number 1, which is very characteristic to what we're seeing, so no rogue EMPs coming through.
Certainly. It's a great point you bring up about the Watson, especially for Shopify, because there are only 11 in the lobby, so it's not a guarantee that teams are going to have them. But the fact that Shopify now gets to play market with Watson is big. That building is huge, especially when you look at kind of the amount of playable space there. The fact that they can fence every wall, keep in mind, you saw those fences, those are set for Altar Qs. They're fencing the walls entirely as we take a look at a Free Thinkers battle here up against Source.
Oh, dang. And there it is, a typical down. And look who's pouncing straight onto it. Source Gaming, full sends, gets the full, now in a 3v2 situation. And I'm free thinkers, I'm free running. I'm trying to get straight out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah, they actually go Trident Choke, and they don't have a lot of options here in terms of remaining members. They're going to play around Armory yet again, and it's actually going to be them trying to, if they try to escape, it's still Vision at checkpoint, by the way. And as we take a look here on round 2, we are going to see more information on this zone. It actually pulls up off of the falls closer to No Name and kind of what you would call tree, as well as the bottom of the cannon. All of that is still going to be in here. And as you could tell, a lot of bets were placed on the Cascade building themselves. Instead, a team like Source and soon to be ROC's kind of walk down from height is going to be really attractive to both of those teams.
Yeah, and pushing free thinkers into that choke. Look, they're still going to be okay for that end game, but if we get caught out and we can't actually regain and get our full trio back up, things can be difficult, because keep your eyes on Team Vision that's looking to wrap back towards the north. That's going to be an interesting fight potentially that breaks out.
Certainly, and if they can win that, they'll look at where they'll have from the northernmost choke, especially if Vision can win this. Where Free Thinkers is right now, by the way, respawning, it's going to be atypical coming down as they're going to try to push this before any of that starts to happen. And it's very good damage coming in from Loader. Here's the Hemlock. Will get the knock as well. Negative will fall, and there should just be one more dropping from the skies. It should be easy pickings here. Probably be oobing for a second, and they're going to wait for the drop down.
He's like, no, I don't want to come down, right? I'm just going to Nitro Gate away. But when you've got 3 members of Team Vision straight shooting at you, this is going to be difficult. But you do your best to escape. You're delaying what is potentially an inevitable feeling. But back to Rock Esports. We got Saucerer down, and it's Vax and Cersei trying to clean up this fight.
Yeah, this is going to be a very important one, because as we said, everyone's going to be shifting up here. Vax trying to win this. Oh boy, the little swap to the 30-30 from Vax is going to be huge. Going to fence up on the platform as well, just trying to stay alive as the drone tries to wrap, but he cues away, baits out the drone, does not take the damage. What a set of plays here from Vax as he tries to stay alive.
There's something crazy to be said about a nasty Watson player. If you dive in and out of your fences and do shit like that, I can't. Like, you got me going crazy. So Ninjas and Pyjamas, look, we're battling around these rocks. Things are going wild. And it's going to be an interesting game, because we still have 20 squads in the lobby.
Uh-oh. Korev might go hard with these nades and a Devo combo, hitting a bit, but not hitting as much as he wanted. But most importantly, take a look at where we are on the map. As Source Gaming, by the way, will go out in the feed. Take a look at where we are. It's all about now cannon building as well as the UAV build. This is where you want to be, and NIP is going to be very happy to be holding this space.
Hold the line, and we find it. We hit for 100 right there, but we can't get it. It's still windy out here in Storm Point, but you've got to send out the aggro, but we want to keep this cover. Come on,
right
you can
now,
get him. It's just a bit of foliage.
Exactly. It's foliage that can go very hard depending on the exact LOS you need to worry about. And NIP is just going to, like I said, they're extending here. They're trying to still get this cleanup here as well on Vax, but right now you can just tell by their positioning. The most important thing is cannon build. They're going to be very happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. Americas is proving to be quite exciting. The longevity of our teams, like, we are deep into round 2 closing, and the fact is that it's such a healthy lobby, and we're pulling. It seems like so many teams are trying to adapt towards that zone playstyle, which means the collapse that comes through in that mid game is that much more exciting. There's Drop Knocked Keon. They're making their way in on the western side of things, but knowing that crazy Thieves are on the horizon, running that Alter, Seer, Axel. It's so wild.
Yeah, it's interesting here. Breach going to go very hard on the window. And now, but most important thing, I think, as we talk about these teams, is also where they are. I think a lot of teams, Elite, CRT, the teams that are holding these kind of Southern Oasis builds, GK as well, anticipating that they will need to make the move up. Of course, if we look historically, we don't see pulls there. So Atypical may finally go down. And he does in the end. That will be Free Thinkers holding on to the match as long as they could, but their time has run out. It will be Nemesis that gets the final KP on that.
Hey, Nemesis need it, right? How many times we talked to Albin and he's talking about specifically the A versus C just haven't really been going their way. Maybe we turn things around this late into split 1. So keep your eyes on Team Nemesis. Elsewhere, we've got Godlike going for a really extended time in the ring, which means they're not alone. Here come DINOS, full sending the bubble out in ring.
And this is, I mean, all the way, come on, over here at essentially Colony East, Stormcatcher, just like with absolute late game desperation from these two squads. And we'll see not only which of them gets out of here, as we somehow, if we end up back at East Trail, last place we'd expect to be early game or late game. Godlike should have the meds, as well as, of course, the Valk to try to reset as a duo, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if they can get back in the game.
The only time we typically go East Trail is for some East Trail end games, but here it is just early game, right? Rock Esports, we saw some nice moments out of them, but they fall at the hands of Team Nemesis that string together a couple more good fights, and they're staying relatively healthy, but they're getting poked at. So knowing that there's still a lot of teams up on this northern side of things that are itching to fight like ninjas in pajamas, and the aggressiveness that Kirev has, and after Cole said some really nice moments about him, maybe he gets a buff. He gets a Cole buff.
Yeah, not a lot of space for Nemesis to play here. They know they really just need to play up against this wall. They've got Vision kind of to their right. They've got NIP, as we said, on UAV build and Cannon to their left, and they're going to try to play this edge as long as they can. And as you could tell by the zone, they'll actually have a lot of time to play this, and there's currently no one at their back. They're going to set some gates here just in case they do need to either zip either way, and we'll see. I anticipate, though, should be able to live quite a while compared to some other teams.
Well, we'll see. DINOS about to exit out of the command center area. And it seems relatively clear, a good open space before they run into ninjas in pajamas, but that circle is still very open, and Crazy Thieves leave their building to set their sights onto Elite NA, and the dance begins. This is where Watson can make things difficult, but we've got the information, and Phony on the altar is going to be able to pop in and out of this building thanks to the portal, get the information, and just absolutely let the R9 rip on him. Kidnap. Okay, yeah, send it again.
Tries to go for the kidnap there, gets him for just a second, but instead just going to spray and try to wrap these corners one by one. We'll take out the fences as they wrap this, but they got to be careful because there's a lot of teams. It's not just Elite they're going up against. Thuggets wants a piece of this battle as well.
They do. Phony takes a ton of damage right there, and Jen's still diving in with that, but here they come. This is the aggressive nature that we wanted, and thank you, Apex Legends. Just dive out of the way of the Arc Star, but look at Carter from Team Vision out there holding with Zach Mazer on the rock. We're Elite and Vlorzi on the roof. This is one too many battles that you were expecting if you're Crazy Thieves.
Certainly, they're going to be able to breathe for just a second. Now, keep in mind, because the zone has finished closing on that last close, and teams are going to now, by the way, get the information top left that you see that this is heading straight into the middle of all of the spaces that we've been talking about. Nobody will be safe. Rolls, chops up on the climb up, gets a really nice spray.
Yeah, he gets a nice spray, but immediately gets traded. He's like, I don't think I was going to get punished for that, but Vlorzi's staring right at him. There goes a frag right past him, basically brushes his shoulder down to the low ground, and Vlorzi's laying chase. The altar being up is the best thing for Crazy Thieves right now as we get the res on a Verholst.
Yeah, just trying to get this bat off as well. As you saw, Elite even got the respawn coming in, so they will now once again be a 3-man on the building just next door. And keep in mind, Team Vision is just out of sight here. They're keeping an eye on all of this as well, and they will also 3P if and when they have the opportunity.
Okay, here's another cluster of fights, right? We have Shopify, Buckle Boys, and Team Liquid. I saw Zero down. Zainu gets a knock onto Jay, and here it is. We're looking to get Zero back up on his feet, but it doesn't come through. Panic instead goes down. It's just to Sykes. He gets the knock onto Shopify. Zainu, but Team Liquid falls. Back to Crazy Thieves we go.
Yeah, just like that, it's only 2 left in the Cascade holdouts, the teams that decided to stay right around that kind of central Cascade Falls area. But like you said, back to this fight. And now Maggie drills are going to be coming in. Will be maybe the Deathbox respawn coming out here, but Verholst has to hold, and it's not going to be an easy hold.
It is definitely not. It is burning. It is scary. And Elite NA down to a duo as well, trying to make a playthrough. Crazy Thieves does get a respawn coming on in, and we're going to stick the res. Can we hold the line? Because Thuggets hold the roof.
Oh boy, Jen goes down, which is dangerous because it's not just a 3v3. As we said, there's another team that's waiting in the wings. You can almost be guaranteed that only one of these 3 will exit, and it's all about timing. Teams are so hesitant. They don't want to be the first or even the second to go down.
And we're dropping. We're looking for the full. Thuggets have already left. They said, we are getting out of here. Phony eviscerated, and Crazy Thieves hit the lobby. You said only one can survive, but with the timing, Elite NA, so long as they're not picked off by Team Vision just north of them, could survive as well.
Yeah, beautifully done there. Thuggets actually Valkolt's out, as you say, and Thuggets gets space, and they're going to try to stay alive as long as they can. They actually go all the way kind of to the waterfall zip. So now we get to check in one more time with Shopify, who, as we said, is still at the Cascade build, but they move north now, the northernmost building that will still be in, and also NIP still holding here on UAV.
Yo, how do we have 13 squads trying to play this? Who's got a little piece of foliage? Who's got a little rock? Ninja's just starving for any kind of coverage. and it's Nemesis and Ninjas in Pajamas and everyone going crazy. It is just visual clutter left and right, and the fact that Team Nemesis are still withstanding inside this building is insane.
Beautifully done. That Q plus the Devo of Alb, some very good synergy. A team that's had, of course, their share of troubles and scrims this week. We've all seen the clips. As right now they are deciding to clear out the entire side of Cannon. Right now their biggest threat, as you see, will be Sen. That's Blink just around the corner.
Team vision out, full 11 out, and I just saw Vlorzy get dropped from high ground as Zephyr looks to just kind of say, where'd you go? We're staying here, and gamblers from East Trail have arrived, but GK on your screen, your winners of map number 1 will take them out.
Takes them down, and also it's still Thuggets playing the low ground just below them. You have to imagine GK probably aware of that, keeping an eye on all sorts of options. Thuggets, that's exactly where they landed. They're kind of just playing a little bit of space, and it will really be their fate is going to be in GK's hands, because GK holds the height, and they'll determine the exact move that they want to make.
SR out, Revival out, a little lull as we've got some more space to work with when you don't have 13 squads in such a tight end game. It's a moment to breathe, and Godlike have found themselves in the center. But here comes the Nitro Gates. Here they go, hunting for Team Nemesis. Drop does take a ton of damage, gets knocked to join him. Keon on the Watson, just barreled behind knockdown shields, praying the frag doesn't connect.
Oh boy, and the Devo's gonna go hard. It doesn't matter how many knocks you have in this meta. If there's a Devo cranking, it's gonna shred right through them. They will get the wipe on GK. That means it's just Nemesis at the north now. No more Ninjas in Pajamas. Nemesis now, Godlike, Sentinels, JDG, and Thuggets are your last 5.
This Hemlock Devo Nitro Gate combo of Alb is disgusting.
And what a big moment it would be as well. If they're able to take this game, it's going to be another Valgold coming in from Thuggets, and you can bet that they will get focused at any moment. It's just, to be honest, living a bit longer than I even expected. They will get the wall down for just a second.
Yep, gets it down, looks to get the reset as well, and I'm not going to say stabilized because Team Nemesis is deciding to unload straight onto you, and just from this angle alone with JD Gaming down towards your left and Godlike towards your right, and the firing squad of Nemesis, it's scary.
And that Newcastle Q is about to dissipate, and guess what? There's not a whole lot left after that Q, as they're actually going to be even kidnap attempts that are coming through from the other side of the rock, and it's Abs. Oh, and by the way, Axel ult against JDG comes in. That's got to be from Sentinels on the south side. Beautifully done there. That's going to be a Blink Axel ult that pops them up for just a second. Still 5 squads, but man, the northern side looking weak.
Couple knocks, but not actually able to send on it just because of where Godlike is positioned. But Thuggets are down, Thuggets are out, and Sentinels are feeling good. I can only imagine, because these are some of the most hilarious people inside of Comp Apex, the comms that went through when they boinked them all up, right? When JD Gaming was like in the air and back to Alb Devo moments. He's running out of ammo though.
He is. I was selfishly hoping he was infinite ammo Devo. He is not. He's going to have that Hemlock though, which will be able to do all sorts of things. Breach as well. He Q's back, and I got to say, a really common spot to slam. We'll see how long Godlike can last here, though.
Thank God for teammates with ammo. He's like, I need heavy, I need energy, gets both. Now Sacred on your screen, kind of doing a little bit of movement. Has the Nexus portal in check. Gets a knock on a Shubi, who is targeted by multiple squads here. But it's Godlike who is kind of the thorn in positioning, right? We can't actually make these crosses, because if you do, you're going to get lit up by Godlike.
Yeah, Godlike still holding that exact spot. They managed to get the slam. It's just a really common spot, as we said. We've seen this end zone a little bit recently as well. If they can hold out Sentinels here, they'll be in a very good spot. But Sentinels wants to wrap this corner if they can. They're going to wait to maybe third party and then try to jump onto the Newcastle wall. There's a little bit of rocks where you can get height here as well.
In terms of fences, I have some. I have plenty of fences. Fun just making happy little fences towards this end game, and Team Nemesis is moving incredibly closer. They're like, we got to get in on this, right? We want some more kills. We need some more KP because we have 10 so far, and we're not happy with that.
Here comes the ults as well. It's going to be a bubble for Godlike. It's going to be a very big one as well. Nemesis wants to try to time this third party perfectly. They want to make sure that Godlike, of course, and Sen wrap one another on that Newcastle wall first, and then they'll be able to join the party as well.
Oh, here we go. The slide in from Alb. Devo letting it rip. Only 19 more bullets, and every one of them needs to count. Sacred, though, has to take a moment. Do we have a shield bat? We've got 4. We're going to need a couple of seconds to make that go through, but now we're the last standing. Team Nemesis out. out, and all heck is breaking out as MT trying to hold on, but it looks like Godlike have less to Jet. It's a 3v1, and Sentinels hold the line. Sentinels take the game, and you mentioned their drop spots at the start of this, and if there would be magic for the former champions, and I think there is.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with that result, and just the ability there as you see a team wrapping that side as you saw. I mean, not only do they have it so fenced, but they can get a new slam. They can play an angle that is really kind of complementary against both teams, and even in the angle that they had, they forced, you saw Nemesis thought that they had to make the first move on truck, and I think Nemesis would have preferred to have maybe a little bit less zone at their back. In doing so, they wouldn't have had to play truck that way, but instead Sentinels forces the fight the other way, and like you said, a 3v1 to close it out. So brilliantly played by the world champions. They will take the game.
Yeah, it was really nice. And those are the moments where I want to go back and I always want to listen to those final end game calls because they're frantic but fun.
Yes.
And it's just a good time. Let's see how many kills they were able to walk away with, because going into that end game, they were situated, double digits, right? And I believe Team Nemesis was double digits as well. So nice 11 kills, 23 points. Yeah, I'd say that was a stellar game for them.
Yeah, really gonna be really happy with that one. And I couldn't agree more. This team is so much fun to listen to. I think we were talking with you guys earlier. It's just like, it's amazing the amount of skill and also vibes on this team is unmatched. There's not a lot of teams that have like picture perfect comms. You think back to Blink's calls during Worlds as well, and also the vibes are so high. So it's a big win for them. They're already looking good for EWC, but this is just another game to add to their already fantastic split.
Yep, definitely is. Now kind of Godlike 11 points, Team Nemesis 17, still a really good game for them as well. Their fights looked like great throughout the beginning of that match. So let's take a look at our series results. After 2 matches, it's Sentinels leading the way with 30, Godlike and Team Nemesis trailing, but honestly, GK, not far behind them.
Yeah, and Godlike is a team, by the way, who needs this. They came into the weekend 15th seed, not qualifying for LAN. We'll have a lot of time to talk about them through the rest of the day, but to be in second place right now is absolutely massive and has huge implications for potentially auto LAN qualification. If they can keep this up today, they likely will be sitting in a really good spot.
Oh, I mean, that's what you're gonna have to do. We talk about the early adapt. We had the crazy day yesterday, but it's maintaining that momentum. So keep tabs on Shopify Rebellion, moving up 7 towards 11th place. But guys, if you want to see Apex Legends your way and you want control over how you watch the ALGS, well, of course, we're excited to announce our new multi-view experience. Follow multiple player POVs alongside the main broadcast while you get dedicated HUD overlays with match stats, key info. You won't miss the moments that matter. So make sure you check out algs.ea.com and log in using your EA account. Check it out, watch it your way, draw some Nessies, make some little happy fences, channel your inner Bob Ross.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely, why not? By the way, Nemesis, I think 16 kills that game. Am I getting that right? Unbelievable.
I don't know about that one, but it sounds good. I like it. I'm gonna go check the math on how many kills they actually got and during this break, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey everyone, it's Dia here, and I've got a very special update to share with you all. Heading into Year 6, the ALGS team have been working hard behind the scenes to make the viewing experience better than ever. Let me show you around the newest addition to the ALGS website, the ALGS multiview. After signing in with your EA account, you'll be able to watch up to 12 streams at once during every single ALGS event. Each team has its own dedicated observer and comms that you can listen to. Viewers will even be able to vote for which player's POV they want to watch. You can customize your layout, add custom Twitch streams, and even draw over them with built-in tools. Team and individual stats will be easily accessible in the sidebar, updating in real time. And just like on Twitch, you can clip your favorite moments as they happen. And yes, you are still eligible for Twitch drops. Now keep in mind that the ALGS multiview tool is still in beta, so as we continue improving the experience, we want your feedback. Please share it using the button that you'll find in the bottom right of your screen. Now this tool is free to use, and it'll be available for every single ALGS event. So log on, find your favorite POVs, and tune in for the best viewing experience that ALGS has to offer.
right, welcome back. Brav taking a bit of a break. That means it leaves you with Tiff and myself to get going. It's been a fun one so far, Tiff. After 2 great games coming into match 3, we have a look at, who's been dominating so far. And for me, zone teams have been killing it. We've seen a lot of the teams we highlighted playing that style in those final zones. But a great game from Sentinels that I think Bravo put it well, showcasing not just the vibes, but the ability for them to execute in that type of team environment. I mean, it's kind of the best of both worlds, and they're champions for a reason this year.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be able to see kind of that highlighted, right? So it looks like we got Crypto banned, and I'm seeing an Axel ban coming through. So no more nitro gating around, no more crazy rotates. I like it. Same thing happened in scrims. Let's see if it lives true.
Yeah, I mean, now, this is so much clearer, and it just took 2 games, really, with Crypto obviously just jumping in the front. I feel like there is a bit of the commitment to trying this legend and playing with it in America, as we could see. We saw it slightly in A versus B. We're certainly seeing it even more heavily in A versus C. And, this is what we expect. So these guys going to have to adjust now as we jump in with Shopify Rebellion. Zainu, Koi, Zap, they have decided to put themselves into a different position this split, and it's worked out for them. Them and Don worked on a lot of things, and obviously his journey with the team and helping them get to where they are now has been a long one, but one that's found some success lately.
I think we are by far the best fighting team in the game. I don't even think it's close. Yes, like we may not be playing Edge now, like in our early games, but we still have that ability to fight. You may be able to see us in those later games, or maybe in the other weeks playing Edge again and being that old Shopify that you guys know to run around on the Edge zone and make sure everyone runs away from us or kill them. But who knows? We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Upgrade chosen. Who's ready to die?
Just gonna have to wait and see. Don, I like it. You know how to play Edge, but you're doing something that works. Tiff, why try to fix something if it's not broken?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we know that there's a lot of fighting prowess in that squad. It may not have actually manifested into our first 2 matches thus far on the day, but there's still a lot of room and fights to be had as we see where that circle is pulling towards, right? And we know they start at Cascade. They've kind of navigated their way out towards the front of Command Center, where they're going to pretty much drop down, but not before taking some shots at Source Gaming and Rock Esports, who are automatically just ahead of them on that rotation.
And it's kind of sometimes a sign of a meta or a leadership thing. You can't really tell which one it is. Obviously, Koi and Zainu have gone through IGLs like a hot knife through butter, and obviously trying to figure out how they can really align with the way to play. Zap looking to be the most current fit to join that duo. But the benefit of this is mitigating the choices that you have to make when it comes to navigating a new meta, navigating these types of aggressive fights that can go either way. Do we go in? Do we go out? How do we utilize our teammates to the best? Sometimes a bad plan better than a good plan that's executed poorly. And I think that maybe it's not their best strategy, sure, but they're executing it well, and it's very simple to execute. Even though it's not easy, it's simple, and hopefully that will turn the tide for Shopify. But right now, Tiff, Rethinker's pushing up on the Vision.
They definitely are. Exhibit launched by Negative. A typical does fall, and we try to take the highest ground potentially. But as soon as he even gets the ping to try to have that angle, Team Vision immediately calls it out. We swarm on in, look for the full if we can potentially get it, and force the 3v2. Now, if I'm Freethinkers, I'm backing away. And I love that they're not shying away from this early game aggression, but it hasn't necessarily swung their way just yet in terms of favor. But what they do get is a typical backup. That full never came through.
Vision in the middle of fighting as well. Carter, he was phenomenal yesterday. Had a clutch that helped Vision do one of the highest single placement climb games in ALGS history. Jumped up 13 places, and now it's going to be up to Zach to just try to stay alive and see if he can find the final shots onto Negative. That information is going to be huge because he gets the info on how much he's actually got left in the tank, and guess what? It's enough to peek the corner and find the kill. Negative turns a bad situation to a positive, and they stay alive.
You know that time where you're like, oh, it hasn't really gone their way just yet? Cue the, you sure about that? You sure about that? Free thinkers are like, I'm resetting. Now, Shopify Rebellion, fresh off the moments we hear from Don, where he's talking about them being the best fighting team. All right, we're throwing it on display. Team Liquid still moving in, barreling, trying to finish out Zap, trying to get the knock on to Zainu. Because you know what? They're also a really good fighting team.
Yeah, to me, I think that as the fight's still going on here, kind of trying to find the rhythm, what is the benefit of being the best fighting team and a team that, you know, when everybody fights well? I mean, it's kind of like being the best three-point shooter and you're 40%, everyone else is 38%. I mean, yes, you are the best, but it's not like going up against Liquid or going up against any of these trios is going to be an easy win. So sure, you have an advantage, but it doesn't mean anything's going to be given. And at this high level, you know, that disparity between how good you can be and how good you are, all those things slow down when you don't jump on top of a meta right away, when you don't understand the things every other player doesn't understand and you're ahead of the game. You know, it's different. And I think everyone kind of imagines themselves, just to finish this rant, you know, jumping into a meta like his Watson. They fight, they run, they throw Horizon gravity bombs out there, they throw the Seer, and they're just fighting everybody and they're winning. That is a very... feels like a free-flowing style of Apex. It's very hard to replicate and be successful with. I don't think we've seen many of that be successful at the highest level since his Watson. And Shopify Rebellion, you know, obviously showed there that there's plenty of teams ready to take that fight with you.
Honestly, you just made me so nostalgic because I was like, that was such a good era. That was so different, right? Era. God. Yeah. It's like the many years, the many moments of Apex Legends. And for Jay from Buckle Boys, well, he's trying to create one of his own as he hits a negative rotate to maybe get the teammates back in. Now, we do know that we're going really deep into the South. I said that earlier today, and this is going to be one of our furthest south zones on the Americas, right? So look towards Devastated Coast. We know Godlike actually positioned themselves up on that elevated building with like kind of Geekade just below them, DINOS out in the front, and Revival and Elite NA, well, they're full sending on each other. Same with Full 11, right? They're running into some issues of their own.
And we talked about this team earlier on, just trying to figure out if they can navigate a better way to approach these fights. Yeah. And they just haven't figured it out yet. And that's not necessarily their fault. This is part of what comes with trial and error, especially in this lobby. You only have so many games. 6 games seems like, you know, maybe it's a lot. It's really not a lot to test your hand when everyone's trying their absolute hardest. You know, scrims don't replicate these match days. And so for a team jumping into the league, they're learning a lot. And it just seems like maybe today is not going to be the day they finally get it.
Right, and I know, like, as we kind of look at Revival, we were just talking about them rotating in on the southern side, straight into Elite NA, kind of getting these fences down, maybe trying to control the pace of this engagement. I think it's something really nice to say, especially when we see Shopify Rebellion recently taking out a squad after Dawn saying, we have the best fighting team. Look, you made the change to being a zone-playing team, and then everything gets shooken up with the Season 29 changes. So that is left to be said, right? Like, we've got some moments here to work on.
I know. I mean, the most unlucky thing would be, you know, in an alternate universe, they stay a fighting team. Axel comes out and they actually finally find their rhythm because they've got a character they can lean on. But we'll never know. Maybe in the multiverse somewhere we will. Another team that's been limping their way towards this season finale without really their full ability to, you know, move at the pace they want to. It's been Crazy Thieves. Jen Burton finally back, though. His last few match days have made an impact, and they continue it here as they try to push in on a team and where they want to go.
Right? Yeah, you can. You go from full low ground, okay? Ready to zero.
Yep. I'm scanning him.
That's you.
I just got fucked instantly, bro.
All cracks.
I'm one.
Take TV.
Yeah, take TV. Yeah. Dude, I just got fucked.
Padding. We all got hit by that. All 1 HP. Yep.
Oh my god.
They fight? They fought for that.
Did they?
Cover back, scan back.
I'm just gonna full heal, yeah. I'm just gonna full heal.
Yeah, they zeroed it, but they didn't fight for it. They just zeroed it.
What the fuck?
Holy fuck. That was bad.
I'm scanning behind us. No one.
Yep. Heard.
No behind.
Is it a Watson team on high or Seer? Fucking, it's a Watson team.
He's building.
Well, that was
I said it's like one guy in there, bro.
He probably is from height. Yeah, he's queuing.
Yeah,
back
they're
up
just
and down,
holding
up and
height.
down.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just still trying to do it
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I have 17 seconds on my next queue. Can you carry it back real quick? Make sure no one's behind us.
Yeah, there's no one. I'm scanning it. Yeah, no one.
Am I able to grab that creeper?
Probably. It's probably not on our back.
Probably can.
Whew, well, I mean, you know, there's nothing slow about that. There's nothing cold about that entrance. It was hot, hot, hot. And they realized it. It's like touching that pan. Oops, this was in the oven. This wasn't on the stovetop. This was actually cooking. Let me take my hands off that. Go grab a mid. They decided to rethink their thought process there. And, man, for good reason. CRT stay alive, but not after taking a couple of shots to the dome. Free thinkers get themselves back at it. We talked about them going down earlier in a fight, but they've still got one more chance to make it work. Sitting on 6 points is Ninjas in Pyjamas, and Atypical running away from Kurev, who has not had that kind of day we expected yet. Tiff, and looking to try to add to it.
Wait, whoa. We get caught by Advent, and now it's like we got one too many people hitting this party. It was once a third party, is now a fourth, maybe potentially fifth, as Crazy Thieves, who we just had a listen-in with, have ran through the choke, TP'd out, and decided, well, let's go look, right? There they go. They portal on out, Free Thinkers out of here, and Ninjas in Pyjamas are starting to disengage a bit themselves.
I mean, very smart play from CRT. They make everything harder for NIP. Kurev's going to have to clutch up here. Vayne is in trouble. Obviously, Cole's already down. Kurev's going to have to go big on the Bangalore as well. Doesn't have any smokes. No ultimate to play off of. Going to look for the revive. Gets silenced. Doesn't get stalled out. We'll see what happens with that as we switch over to another fight happening with Sentinels. Winners of game 2, Tiff, and now they've lost Monsoon.
That's okay, though, because we're getting Monsoon back on up. Now, this is what's interesting, right? We were talking about God, like, having this high ground. Jen's on the low ground running. So Sentinels, I mean, if we step back just a couple of moments, did they chow for this immediately and they get the res on Monsoon? Now they own the high ground. Sure, they may have to move just a bit further north, but this positioning is really solid for right now.
And you just put a button on what we were watching before that. NIP have stabilized. They found a way to get it into zone. So we'll cut back to them once we get through this action here. CRT continuing to find fights. No matter where they go, they've got bullets in front of them. I know they're frustrated with seeing alternators, cravers, things like that. Anywhere they try to press their, face against the glass. But ultimately, I think this is JD Gaming doing a great job of just holding. There's nothing we need to do, guys. We're here. We got Watson. Come on at us.
Why do I feel like Crazy Thieves is everywhere? They're showing presence in like all these different fights. And I'm curious, I'm like, do we have like a ton of kills? Are we picking up 1? Are we picking up 2? Are we getting anything for it? No, they have 0 kills.
I know, and these are the games that like they either like turn out to be nothing and you're like, man, we did a whole lot to get a whole lot of nothing, or somehow you find the opening. And I feel like they're just staying involved. You never know till the decision gets made. This could be the opening they're looking for. It's a contested building. It's out of zone. As you can see, it's going to start pulling south. But CRT, JD Gaming are in front of them regardless. So they're going to have to either go around them or go through them.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They remind me of like the one friend that's invited to every single party. And you're like, how do you know all of these people? Right? That's Crazy Thieves right now.
I know. And you know what? They're always interested. They always have the energy to go to every single party as well. That's the funny thing about that.
Yeah, they're so consistent.
So, I mean, just, it should be a job at that point, do very well in social careers. I'm sure we've all experienced that. Maybe some of you watching are that friend and you're just coming back from a party, relaxing, throwing on some ALGS on your TV screen. I don't blame you. Welcome.
Yeah, well, I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to throw a party if Zero starts connecting these Kraber shots. 0 for 1.
You were very close. You were very close to sending out the guest list right there, Tip. But unfortunately, Zero, for us who would have been invited, missed that shot. For you, maybe a little bit easier. You've got a lot going on already. Don't need to start planning another event at the house. I know Shopify Rebellion, though, they're starting to creep up. This is a pretty decent game from them. 8 kills. They're up, I think, 10 points in this game from where they stood, starting with 9 going into this. So really solid from them.
I was gonna say we need to pump the brakes because what do you mean they're killing, right? I was kind of chuckling because I was like, dude, they've been getting caught out on these zone placements. The timing has just been really weird, but more on that later because Shopify Rebellion are actually gonna be the third party to this. You have Team Liquid out on that further backside. You've got, I believe, that looks to be Buckle Boys caught in the middle, and now Shopify Rebellion is here.
And this is where Shopify Rebellion, I think, could shine because they're playing zone, but now they're playing edge of zone. It's not like they're trying to run in, you know, with weak kind of positioning in terms of armor or health. They're really set up to fight this. They just happen to be on the outskirts, so they're willing to be flexible. This is where they can hopefully turn something around. Kuref staying alive. We told you it was all on him. Well, that is certainly the case here. He's got purple shield cell and a dream.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's going to be a nightmare as JDG clean him up. And as a result, also Crazy Thieves have a chance to get away from JDG, who had been holding him out. Now Crazy Thieves in zone. JDG switching positions, taking the outskirts side. And Crazy Thieves, after all that chaos, Tiff, they have found themselves in a pretty decent spot.
You know, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked that we are chilling here, kind of gatekeeping the North. We've talked about Crazy Thieves wanting all of these fights, and Shopify Rebellion is going to look to come up the hill. Down goes Zainu.
That's
Don't
funny
connect
right there.
for the full. It definitely is.
That's a former teammate right there. One of the craziest stories in Apex history is, you know, these guys winning a LAN and then splitting up immediately afterwards.
Yep.
That
was weird.
You know, that was weird, but you know, obviously they went on, found success in different ways. Phony though, separating from Zainu and Koiful, well, reuniting with a Kraber shot to take down Zainu there. What will that mean for Shopify Rebellion, who were having a really good game? These two teams now basically holding each other out of zone. Crazy Thieves have the advantage. Shopify rotating over to Elite. Boy, oh boy, we got the Watson set up here. Big time.
Oh, for maybe 7 because we got 3 bullets left. I don't know. Math isn't my strong forte, but Team Liquid on the low ground, and we are just trading blows. We get Elite dig down, Elite NA out, and now up the stairs we potentially go. DINOS still hold the high ground, but with all these portal plays from the altars, we can kind of really work on this. Elsewhere, we lost Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, we did. They were not in a good spot. I think Crazy Thieves might have actually pushed into them. Shopify went away from Crazy Thieves. Crazy Thieves now pressing the advantage. I believe they would have, I just feel like they'd have a Void Nexus to run back to. And I think look at this. There it is. So they're doing this. This is such a good play from them. They're going to literally go all the way back to where they were. They pinch Shopify, force them to heading into this game alongside Thuggets, who have been in zone, center zone this entire time, and Liquid, who've surprisingly, you know, been under duress, had some missed Kraber shots, Tiff, but they're in a great spot.
They are. Like I said, it's just another invite to a party that they're looking to lock in on, and they're up to 2 kills. Down into, what is this, the final 5 teams. All teams of 3 up and ready to go. JD Gaming, 5th overall after the first couple of maps, and we're poised to a spot to hold a large majority of that next circle. What is Crazy Thieves going to do? That's my biggest thought process on that.
Well, this is actually a great thing. You see on the southwestern side of your screen, down bottom left, Crazy Thieves are approaching on the high hill. JD Gaming gave up that hill and went down below. They're in zone. Crazy Thieves are not. Team Liquid now fighting Thuggets and Sentinels. It's a Sentinels Liquid battle. Zero comes out on top immediately, tries to take down Fun. It's looking good for Liquid. It's looking smooth. But Blazer is still alive. This is a problem. It's taking too long. He's got to finish this. Zero can't let this go. And he doesn't. Clutched up from Zero. Liquid stay alive. But do they have enough in the tank to fight these two teams as JD Gaming are now forced to fight against Crazy Thieves, who find a way to finish them off?
And you want this time of these engagements up here to take a while because it allows Team Liquid to reset. Phony doesn't connect there, but the Kraber shot will force them to not peek out. It gives Crazy Thieves space to keep on approaching JD Gaming, but the moment they move out, they have Thuggets at their back, and now we must full send this through the Mad Maggie, through the Riot Drill, swinging around R99 in hand, and JD Gaming is out, but at what cost?
Can they do something about this reset? They take the spot, though, because they get the early knock. They can 3v2 and take the spot that has the Watson gen, which means that they're...
did he just thread a blade of grass? He's threading grass with a 30-30, and Crazy Thieves are taking every brunt of it. They are out of this lobby, and it's Team Liquid versus Thuggets. Kraber, infinite ammo. Zero's best friend has to hit the shield bat, and look at the swing coming in from Dan Mantic. He's got this Chal against Zero, but he loses it. He falls. And a swing. Panic is so low. It's Sykes and Panic on 1 HP. You're getting crazy. You're swinging around the wall, and you do it. Team Liquid take the game win. Oh my God. This is absolutely insane. The timing of that. You think back just a moments prior to these last fights. It is literally Team Liquid taking down Sentinels. They get the reset. You've got Crazy Thieves that full send up there. Thuggets on the high ground as well. But Panic, Zero, and Sykes withstand all of the chaos on that end game and seek to control. I can't believe it, but what a way to end Storm Point Bravo.
Yeah, beautiful game, and really big from Team Liquid as well, because Team Liquid, we haven't gotten to talk about as much as we want, Tiff, and that's probably because they're kind of sitting around 9th place, right? They're a team that we should see much higher, so important to note that they had really solid blocks this week. Storm Point has been their strongest map all split, and I think that's kind of the momentum they probably needed to have a really good back half of the day as well.
Yeah, I was curious how many kills they were able to walk away with there, because we constantly see them in these engagements, and I'm like, wait, they're a little close. Wait, this is because they're starting to get uncomfortable, but then somehow they clutch it out. We are seeing just these engagements come down to like 30 HP in a 1v1, but they walk away with 13 kills for a 25-point game.
Oh, man, absolutely huge game. A lot to be proud of there, and I think there's been questions asked of this roster. I think a game like that reminds everyone just what they're capable of when they are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and all I can think about is Zero shrieking in the comms on some of those Kraber shots. Like sometimes when he's calling out those end games, it's just chaos. And I don't know why. It's just like you watch so much Apex from different POVs. It was the same thing with the Sentinels when you're like, this is probably rogue. But for Thuggets and Crazy Thieves that are still in that end game as well, double digits points. That manifests, however, into the series results of Sentinels still with 38 points. It shoots Team Liquid up 10 positions. Bravo.
My God, we talk about a pop-off game that changes the table. I mean, this was the one, and they also had around, if you look at Storm Point kind of this week, they had one block where they were 55 points after 3 games. This is how they do that, because they were able to get 25-point games to shoot themselves up. I mean, look at the rest of the table. No one's moving, and they go 10 spaces up. Pretty big game from them.
Yeah, that's massive. Shopify Rebellion, though, before they fell in that mid game, they were looking pretty good, starting to heat up with 13 kills. It moves them up 3 positions as well. So they're starting that climb. I don't know if it was maybe the Dawn interview buff at the start of that saying we have the best fighting team, but it really started to move the needle for them. And of course, just halfway through our 6-game series here in match day number 8, there's still a lot to be desired, but keeping things incredibly close on those series results thus far means we're going to have a dang good time on E-District. Of course, that's all going to be coming up after the break.
Red Bull is giving wings to the ALGS and the Apex community.
Red Bull gives you wings.
right, welcome back, guys. It's been a fun one. Liquid, just get on the board there. I know I took a little hiatus before break time, but you guys covered it well. Tiff and Brav back on the mic here. I'm your host, Rain Day. And again, joining us over this halftime have been some amazing guests throughout our ALGS community. We had earlier on in EMEA's, I mean, one of the more unique things you'll see anywhere, which is a handstanding gamer, literally gaming while handstanding. And you know, we got Ed Boy gaming on the unicycle. It just keeps getting more fun. Well, somebody who's not quite doing handstands, but you could say that they've been holding the weight of a lot of competitive tournaments on the scene for many years is our man Mazida joining us here. It's great to have you on the broadcast and great to put a face to the name after many years of interaction. Welcome and
Yeah,
away,
so
Tiff.
here's the deal. I'm going to jump in here. I'm sorry, Mazida. We just lost Rain. It's okay. We still got his picture. But my man, Mazida, it is so dang good to get you on a show here for ALGS finally. You know how I feel about it. You were actually one of the people that gave me one of my first commentating gigs in Apex. You have been a pinnacle of the Apex comp in general. Hundreds of Apex tournaments. Talk to me a little bit about what you've been doing lately in the Apex tournament scene.
Spider Tiff, I mean, it's great to, you know, actually chat. For those of you who don't know, me and Tiff go way, way back. We've worked together for 5-6 years, especially on the Apex Legends side. But as of late, I've been actually helping my good friend Rhino Live out with Queen's Cup Season 5. We're preparing for a last chance qualifier for the season, which is coming up Friday, the 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's been a great season so far and really, really excited to continue that on with Rhino next Friday.
Nice. No, that's super awesome. And I'm excited. Of course, we got Bravo here. He's probably going to throw some questions your way. So
yeah,
I'm going to open the floor for him.
Totally. Yeah. Stoked to see. Yeah. I mean, it feels like once, and you would know this better than anyone, once you see what's required behind the scenes to run recurring events, big events, etc. There's so many pieces of the puzzle. So first of all, just a huge shout out to you and the teams that you've worked with for everything you do. And secondly, just want to ask if what you guys have coming up so people can look forward to and maybe tune into in terms of actual events on a roadmap.
Yeah, so definitely, like I said, we're currently working on Queen's Cup Season 5 with my good buddy Rhino. If you do want any more information on that, even some of the events I'm currently working on, if you're like me and you can talk about esports until the cows come home, you can drop me a follow at MazitaGG wherever you scroll.
No, that's perfect. I mean, just talk me through the beginning of what made you want to get into a lot. I know you do a lot more outside of just Apex Legends in general, but this seems to be the home that you always come back to. What was the start like for you?
The start for me was actually pretty easy. I was a huge Titanfall 1 and 2 fan, played those for hours and hours and hours, whether it was just kind of screwing around with friends, playing competitively, or dropping it with that, iconic Titan. When Apex Legends dropped, it was a day one game for me. I dropped into Kings Canyon. I dropped in as Pathfinder. I have a screenshot of my very first drop because I like to take screenshots of, kind of different memories as you go through gaming. For some reason, everyone was dropping this weird Skulltown POI, but I kind of avoided that and just went about my own game. But I quickly realized I have such a passion for Apex Legends. And not only that, but the community space as well, as that was starting to develop. It was a lot of kind of one-off odd man kill races or whatnot. But I found myself getting involved into scrim communities and kind of running those alongside the GLL scene that was going on back then. So after that, I found my home at Boom TV and I started up the Proving Grounds, which is probably where a lot of you know me from. We've run events like the Code Freedom series. We've done Ladies Night, Fight Night, hide and seek events, you name it. We've done a little bit of everything and we found a space for everyone inside Apex Legends Comp.
And I think the last thing you just said there, finding the space for everyone, completely hits home, right? I started in the Proving Grounds when it comes to commentating before I moved on to the Challenger circuit. So many pro players really kind of honed their skills on those earlier days. So Mazita, thank you so much for jumping on here and talking to us. But before we go, I want to kind of give you the floor once more. Let us know where people can find you. If you obviously you still have the Queen's Cup going on, but maybe some other people want to get involved. So go follow Mazita.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at MazitaGG, or wherever you scroll, like I had mentioned. We're doing a lot of cool things right now with the Queen's Cup, which is Apex Legends focused. We've got some cool programs coming up in the future that we will need some content creators for. So if you're like my man Caution that was on the broadcast earlier, make sure you drop a follow to @PlayInQ, again, wherever you scroll.
Heck yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Mazita. I hope you have a fantastic
man.
Memorial Day weekend, the rest of it, and a great evening watching some ALGS comp. Thank you so much, homie.
You as well. Chat later, guys.
Bye. Also, Bravo, I can't believe, I feel like that was actually my first like video call with Mazita. And like I said, I've known him for like 6 years. Like what, right? Like why not reunite here on an ALGS halftime?
That's amazing, honestly. Very, very cool. And also so cool to have Mazita to be able to join us. And as we take a look back at the series results, we talked about Team Liquid, you and I, Tiff, but during the break, we were also talking about DINOS finding a little bit of footing. It's very important to jump six places in the standings, excuse me. Still a lot of work to do, though. That's your second seed in the Americas. People are expecting big things, and they need to find a way on the ED games to really turn things up.
Yo, they jumped 6 places, but they have 8 points.
Yeah,
so I was like, okay, so a couple points go 8 places. That's going hard, but we're changing the nature of the game. We're moving to the back half of the series, and to E District we go. Man, I'm ready. These games were fun earlier in EMEA, and I hope these ring true for Americas.
Me too. A lot of things to look at too as we get ready for this game. By the way, we should check in as you and I were predicting from scrims. It was a crypto Axel within one ban and then an altar ban. So things are kind of going the way that we expected so far in terms of the Americas. Interesting thing that you've been highlighting, I think, really well is the next questions are where do the Watson and Maggie bans come, right? Is that which one's game 4, which one's game 5? Those aren't guarantees, but things have kind of gone that way. So that's the next thing we're going to be looking at in this game for sure.
Well, I'm going to keep my eyes on it. My eyes are open, and I'm looking at the POI draft. I'm seeing crazy things. Look, we had so many Southern pools on E District, which feels really crazy for me to say. So I'm looking at like Rock, Esports, Shopify, Ninjas, and Pyjamas, who have like the northernmost points across the board. So we'll see. We'll see what we get, Bravo. But I'm ready for some like 15 team end games here on E District.
Absolutely, me too. And it's worth mentioning on the POI draft, we have GK and Godlike, your two main baby comp, kind of Gibby Newcastle Valk teams right next to each other. That's going to be Blossom and Boardwalk. And let's not forget, as we saw earlier, Shopify is no stranger to that. So they're all going to be right next to each other in the north. But we got to focus on first and foremost, it will be TL Landing Street Market, but focusing on them after that huge game win on their last game of Storm Point.
All right, well, look at that. Sykes on the Watson, 0 on the Wraith, and Panic on the Mad Maggie. This is still an incredibly aggressive comp, and anytime you throw a crazy player like Sykes onto a Watson, you know you're in for a good time. So let's get the ring console. Let's see where we're headed. Please no South Zones. Please no South Zones.
Oh.
You know what? I'll take it.
You'll take it. Yeah.
I will take an energy bank centered like circle.
Without a doubt.
Or does it go energy bank? Because how many teams called it wrong earlier?
It's got to stay E-Bank, right? There's no way we're seeing that. Well, there's been hard pulls. We'll leave it open-ended for now. But I think most importantly, the biggest thing to talk about is take a look at all these comps. By the way, it is a 1-pick difference, as close as we expected. 16 Maggies over 15 Watsons in this game. So there's going to be a lot of teams that will have this console information. But worth noting, even if you do have a Watson, you might not have a console. This is another hard pull right into E-Bank. So a lot of teams are going to be moving central, maybe without the exact same amount of information.
Oh, so we're losing Maggie before Watson.
Yeah.
Okay. That's slightly our deviation from the recent scrim sets with A versus C, but that's okay. Like it's still going to happen. Watson will likely be next, but we have that influx of teams that are already looking for space inside that circle, immediately like saying, we're going energy bank. This is what we're doing.
It's also worth noting DINOS is your E-Bank team, and you have to think that DINOS being in with the second seed, picking E-Bank, is kind of an opportunity for them to just play a very central zone and put enough, quote-unquote, points on the board as we take a look at Nemesis trying to get their space early on in E-Bank. But DINOS is in such dire straits that they can't really just play casual, calm zone from E-Bank this game, and it's pulling right on them. They're going to need to find a way to make sure they're not just surviving to late game, but also putting KP on the board because they're behind by so many.
Yeah, they truly are. That gap to the top of the leaderboard is definitely occurring, but since they're such high seeded already in the Americas, you can afford a lackluster day. At least they can, right? Some of the others on the board, not so much. And I'm seeing a crazy Thieves showing up to the party. They're basically saying, if I'm not invited, I'm knocking down the door.
And this is wild on the respawn because, I mean, a lot of people want to be able to have the respawn building here and try to hold it, and it's not. This is early to have 3 teams stacked on this. Already a catwall coming down as well. CRT realizes it's a little bit too dicey here. Let's go ahead and rotate back to this build.
And they've got 4% until they do have the exhibit available to them. We do see Phony has the ball available for that, but we had to expend wall. Luckily, with Verholst able to reinforce some of those doors, we will say, okay, fine, we will take this building. All is well, at least for them. Not so much over here.
As you said, these teams now just going to try to hold in. It's going to be free thinkers now. Just as also, by the way, full 11's thinking about maybe getting involved in the bottom tunnels as the first fences will go up. And free thinkers going to try to hold this. Gen, of course, going to be essential for this hold, but it's DJ trying to wrap around instead. Just going to go ahead and TP back, and it will be free thinkers now able to grab the low ground. Of course, this real estate going to go very quickly.
It definitely is, and as I kind of just like keep an eye on where people are moving, we lose out on Source Gaming, but it's Elite NA up on the top. We still have Godlike, Shopify Rebellion, Ninjas and Pyjamas, and Rock Esports that are looking to hail down from the northern side of things. But with free thinkers taking again another successful early game fight, stack a couple more of those together, and it's a really good game for y'all.
Absolutely. And as we take a look, it's a really crowded, like you just saw, not only is it really crowded around this area and kind of respawn building, as well as the entire fence line, as well as the kind of fan, but even still in draft. You've got Revival and Liquid kind of working their way around. JD still on the other side of the wall in draft as well. So a lot of teams trying to, as you think about where this is going to pull, that kind of indicates to us that teams are anticipating one of the pulls that's going to be southwestern side of E-Bank on kind of the stepped land, if you will, that goes all the way down to bottom central E-Bank. That's why you're seeing teams jockey up with their backs to the draft point wall here.
Interesting. Okay, well, for gamblers, right? They have that East Trail and Storm Point. We're trying to change our fate here on E-District a bit. 8 points thus far, but we know what 8 points did for DINOS after that. Moved them up a ton. So this can put us into the mid-pack on our series results thus far. You got Team Nemesis out towards the left, and they had a pretty stellar game. I think it was in match number 2. Didn't quite get the win, but were close and had a ton of kills. Would like to see them kind of show some signs of life here on E-District as we move on over.
Certainly, Free Thinkers now going to hold central E-Bank, and these rooms are really not easy to hold. Of course, it's maybe a tiny bit earlier when you're not looking at cryptos and altars in this central building. Makes this a little bit less complicated, maybe a more straightforward hold, but still it's going to be dicey. There's a lot of teams, 5 teams right now fighting over central E-Bank.
Yeah, and a riot drill will take down negative. Back up on their feet. No, turns into a death box. We lose out on an orange, and a typical is left on their own. Now trying to constantly check in with behind, be like, all right, what are we doing? Well, we're going to eventually, no, we're not laying fences. We're going to just take a shield bat instead and just pray that they're not full sending me.
Yeah, this is not going to be easy, as you can already see Darks trying to think about Atypical, trying to play the heady, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be Dig and Caden getting angles, Dark flying, and you have to think just a matter of time and a matter of sprays before we see Dark maybe the most forward take down Atypical. This really should be it. Yes, Free Thinkers will go down here at 19th.
Honestly, not much you can do there. You are being hunted by Elite NA that needs every single point that they can get on the board, so it is to be said that especially if you have the northern side alone and no one's really pushing in just yet, we'll see. For now, you can already see we're taking shots. Who is that on the other side, you may ask? DINOS.
The DINOS now actually going to be a poll. Exactly. I think a lot of teams have this most recent poll that's going to be on your zone for the teams that are going to be able to get it. Are going to be able to see anyone that's really outside. I'm looking at really, it's just Liquid that could, if they wanted to, really get a console. Of course, this late in the game, it's only Settlement and Draft, and maybe even you could say Canal Plaza that are going to be the viable consoles for third. As we take a look right now at that exact poll, only a few teams will have that info, and maybe GK or Revival on the way will get that as well. But really the point I want to make is this is pulling exactly where a lot of teams have placed the bet. Like I said, still pulling just a bit to the southwest side.
Yeah, I mean, Crazy Thieves slamming onto Team Nemesis at the start of this poll immediately, and then retreating into their own building. I like it, right? They've managed to get inside the next circle. Now they can take flights on all these teams that are going through that choke where Gamblers currently is situated, because they're going to look for buildings. So I'm excited about that for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be certainly an area of the map to keep a very close eye on. Liquid is actually retreating here, and they're thinking maybe we don't want to go through JGG and Vision, who are both right around kind of Twin Towers area. Liquid thinking about maybe a much wider wrap, to be honest. If we even take a look at exactly what they're playing, they do have the Watson, so maybe even thinking about console information all the way over at Settlement. But right now, actually, Vision is just going to try to cut them off at the pass.
All right, well, that's going to be really interesting. You know, those calls are coming in from Zach Mazer, and they do kind of drop down, but Team Liquid seem to have no issue as they still go deeper into Humbert Labs. For some of our teams on the north, well, job's not done. It's Cole getting angsty up here with Cruel Buckle down and out, and still trying to find the remnants of the rest of them. And sure, you may be invulnerable for now, but we wait. Goodbye.
Yeah, NIP right now in 13th after another great day yesterday. I think if you took a look at kind of the tweets that NIP put out, they're pretty much like, yep, we are still #1 in the league by a very, very long shot. But we'll keep an eye on now on Godlike, who actually flies their way into Northside E-Bank, and unsurprisingly on their comp of choice. Let's get into a listen-in with Godlike.
I have an extra 2 bats too.
I'm 8 bats. I'm good.
Nice. I'm gonna scrap the loot below us. Just keep looking around. Do you need bats there or no?
No, I'm Sean. I got 8.
I'm gonna drop these 2 then.
Yeah, I got 8 as well.
Actually, I might as well pick them up.
Hey, our main threats are this compound team over here, and then this compound team here. I don't think there's anything else we really have to worry about.
Yeah. We should. I should my bot.
See a team here. See a cat here. See a cat Maggie.
Yeah, see a cat Maggie. Drop the 2 bats.
I'm gonna hold them.
You get cracked to see them.
You need to take the 7.
Yeah, let me go.
Drop me in here.
Not above here.
Up top's pretty shit.
Yeah, it is.
I think we best stop playing from bottom.
I'm just gonna stay on height.
Okay.
We're trying to walk up. That's way out here. 60 blue. 120.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab that.
56 on my ult.
Nice.
I mean, zone close. You want to just go here early?
Like this one here, you mean? Like down here?
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think I
down here.
Yeah. I think that could be worth.
All's calm with Godlike. We're floating in 6th on the series results thus far. We're putting ourselves in decent positions and just kind of focusing on the tasks at hand. We've got the North. You've got tabs on Rock Esports. You got Shopify out towards the other side. But what you don't want is you really want to force Rock to move into the next circle at a different positioning, because we just want to drop straight south into Energy Bank if you're Godlike.
That's exactly it. Like you said, you heard MT make the call. He goes, our spot's pretty stinky, I think were the words he used, or something like it. So they knew they had to play, like you said, the low ground. They're splitting off that already. They don't, of course, they don't have console with the comp that they're playing. They don't have the info, and they won't have the next info, which will be even more important, but they know that they will need to make a move south. And there it is.
That's a move. That's a fight. Why do I feel like I just witnessed like someone trying to hide from like a killer in a horror movie?
Did feel like a bit of a slasher film, didn't it? As Team Liquid will be
gave
eliminated.
that vibe.
By the way, just to check in with the whole route, because everyone watching during that listening didn't get to see it, Liquid actually plays for 3rd at Humbert, is what they did. They went to go get 3rd information at Humbert, and then of course the next move from Humbert, as you see, was still to also try to get info at as much as they could at Settlement. They get cut off. NIP holding out and gatekeeping TL from entering Settlement. That means NIP has their back cleared. Let's get back to center map though. Here's Vision.
Yeah, and look, they are inside the thick of it, trying to move out of here. You got GK, you've got Team Nemesis and Crazy Thieves. That's that area where everyone's kind of culminating on this southwestern side of things. Now, you're not potentially going to be alone, because there still are some southern teams that could decide to dive north straight onto you. So making sure that you control the space, have some kind of coverage here. But with Mad Maggie still into the mix, rogue riot drills can catch you off guard.
Without a doubt. Now, Team Vision, as we said, a lot of teams still playing this side. Now, the zone is shifting a bit off of this, so it means that the 5 teams, by the way, who have decided to play still along Respawn Beacon Building. Vision has their backs to the draft wall. GK is coming in from the neon balloon chokes, as Godlike realizes we've got to take our life into our own hands and really just rock with the play that they've been rocking for many, many weeks now, as they're going to look for space here on the Valcolt.
They said their space was bad. At least they do have the Valk, like you said. And we are just committed to gathering information and a shrivel of coverage. But it works. We're safe. We don't take a ton of damage. And we knew we had, what, 15 shield bats? So we're feeling good.
Yeah, and interestingly, they don't know it yet, once again, because they are not a console team, and this is the trade-off that you get, but they are actually not in on that exact wall. They don't know that yet, but they will learn it soon. They'll be able to play this spot for quite some time. For sure, but they'll need to move beyond this. That'll be a question of ult excels to see exactly how fast they move, of course, if they can get new walls down and re-wall, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Elite right now. They are throwing anything and everything that they can at Godlike. Of course, Full 11 is going to be the team out there on the right-hand side of things. It seems to be calm for now, but not for our other teams, right? Team Nemesis still kind of in that area we were looking at with Team Vision rotating just south of them. There is a chance that all of these teams kind of just butt heads with each other in the next like 1 minute. but you don't want to be the team that has this long-standing fight because you're not going to win, and that team you're fighting is going down too.
Sacred letting the wingman absolutely rip. You hear the crack coming in there. They're still playing kind of a split off of this respawn beacon building. Sacred on the Maggie as you'd expect, but they're going to need to move, and so do a lot of teams in front of them, and they're having a great day so far, but still with 16 squads left, they want to make sure that they put up a fantastic game 4 as well.
Yeah, they want to correct the mistakes of A versus C, and it seems so far they're doing just that. Crazy Thieves trying to stabilize, but you've got Team Vision also doing a bit of the same. This is the perfect time for Team Nemesis to kind of split in between these two rosters and really wreak havoc on it. Look at it, Sacred waltzes on in, takes way too much damage because the reset was already there, but he does get the knock on a phony, but Jen Burton does trade him out.
Wow, important knock there. Al will be there to finish the job. Skittle alongside him as well. Like you said, just really good opening damage coming in from Sacred to finish. Even more, you could argue, damage than he should have done in that situation. Now GK wants to get involved from this as well, but a very, very different comp that they're playing from the low ground. It will be Seer Wraith Watson for them as they try to claim space up top.
And I don't know if Team Nemesis was able to hit a reset, right? We do see Alb go down in the kill feed, but I'm not sure where Sacred is because Keon down, dropped very low on health, not just trying to stabilize on the inside. Team Vision did get a member of their team back in, and this is one of those fights that is going to last for a long time thanks to Deathbox Revival. And now down to the knockdowns. Knocked. Wait, Team Nemesis is all 3 up.
Yeah, also not isolated either. Skittle does just so well there. Also, talk about Sacred staying alive as the Maggie. That ball absolutely wreaked havoc. Alp's trying to set a port for the team actually to get out of this. They don't want to have to fight through Revival as well, who's just downstairs. We'll see if they can fight out of this.
GK not going to fight out of it. They're going to be leaving the lobby down to 14 squads, and Nemesis, thanks to the Wraith play from Alb, get out into the next circle. Team Vision still alive. Revival on your screen as well. Now we turn our attention towards the north. Shopify Rebellion, Sentinels, Rock Esports, Buckle Boys. We are getting crazy.
By the way, Godlike has made a very, very good move. We'll take a look at it only if we get a chance to look at it on the map. But ROC trying to hold Sausages, trying to play the knocks, but not going to be easy for him as we get back over to the side of Shopify Rebellion. Yes, ROC will go down. That will be Shopify surviving here into your top 12 squads as they will be able to heal up and essentially play right now the southern part of kind of the main E-Bank builds. Let's get back over here to Team Nemesis.
Look, they want to clear this space out on the western side of things. We're not in that next pool. We lose out on Revival. We lose out on Elite NA, which leaves just 2 other teams alongside Team Nemesis. It's the coveted Team Vision that's just ahead of them. That's Sacred. You can kind of hear a couple of those ticks come through with that riot drill. We have the Maggie ball available, but this is one of those fights that we were seeing in EMEA where you kind of have to climb up and try to find that angle. It's going to be difficult.
By the way, this is a very specific zone pull. This was one that existed kind of together in kind of a very specific split of time. This is to the right of the bridge. A lot of teams thought this was pulling left of bridge, as we saw earlier. Then a few teams were kind of positioning up for a bridge pull. And as you can see, great shot from our observers, this is actually pulling right of bridge. So Thuggets buildings are just in, but it's NIP, Godlike, and Sentinels who have the closest proximity to zone.
Good calls on them. You say Sentinels have proximity, but we are burning amongst a wall of bubble, and Fun drops the pylon, just trying to hold some line of angle, and Ninjas in Pyjamas just absolutely takes down Sentinels.
It's Florzy trying to maybe peek over. He's trying to get a few arcs out, as you could tell, but certainly, actually, Cole says, I don't want any of that. He's actually going to challenge. I love this play from him. Thuggets is up top. They thought they might be able to peek, but instead it's NIP returning the fire right away, continuing to hold their space.
And that's Godlike on the low ground. Okay, keeping tabs on Team Nemesis as JD Gaming is really trailing them. They're forcing them into the next circle, into the hands of Shopify Rebellion. And just like that, the portal play comes through. Sacred, burning alive, Skittle Cakes to join them. And we've just kind of diving through portals back and forth, elongating our survival as long as possible.
Oh, not looking good. Nemesis will go down. Alb having to do a lot of heavy lifting on that point-to-point work on the Wraith. In the end, will be taken down. It's going to be Koiful, your kill leader here, now with 4 on the board.
And they're still ramping up. They are looking so good with 3 assists. We're nearing double-digit kills on 8 as a team. But this high ground for JD Gaming can prove to be fickle. You light up Floating. You light up Shubi. We lose Zainu. Zap to follow. It's just Koi last standing on this fight.
Oh my gosh, it was beautifully held there by JDG on the height. And as you said, it isn't just Koi indeed. Just trying to maybe stay alive, pop a few cells off. And as the Maggie might be able to play a little bit of angles here.
Oh, and they're rezzing. Now mirroring each other on the rotate back to the pylon. Koi takes the high ground on top of the hedge. RE45 in hand, and he drops one, but we fall. JD Gaming lives to see another day, and because they're the only team on the western side, should be able to stabilize ahead of the chaos on the east.
And look at Thuggets just playing their bubble in the very, very last bits of their balcony and their building before they will have to drop down. As we said earlier, NIP was keeping very close tabs on them, and this is actually fairly isolated. Now Catwalk comes down from Florzy. They may be able to heal out of this and still get a rotate yet, but they are under heavy fire from NIP through the wall.
Red to see on E-District, and Vayne peeks on through. Vlorzy's already dived towards the left, and the slam comes in. That's a good moment for them. You see the Seer tack throughout. Another Seer tack goes through, and NIP just trying to hang out. They part the way with a catwall of their own. It feels like Apex of old. Kirev on the Mad Maggie throws the Riot Jill, lets it burn, and for now, it just seems like we don't want to fully commit to sending a team thoroughly.
Yeah, Kirev's ball even did a whole lot, but when you're going up against the Gibby Newcastle team, it is not easy, but NIP still has the angles here. That drill gonna be able to tick through. They pick up the first one. Looks like they should be able to get this wipe as well. They do. That's Thuggets eliminated.
They said Kirev was the best MNK player in the world. That's what Cole said when we talked to him. And look at moves like that. Instead, though, godlike from the low ground, Arc Stars trying to peek on through. A shrivel, a bubble with a ring at our back, and I don't even know how we're alive.
Oh, Valcolt is canceled. They thought about it for just a second. Jen wanted to make it go up, but it does not happen. He survives into the top 4, which is big. Goes even for even more KP if he can. He will go down, however, so now JDG on the high ground looking over full 11.
Looking over full 11, they peek, they take down Legatron, and JD Gaming take the win here on E-District. What did we just witness? That endgame, oh my god, this is why I love E-District being an ALGS comp, because these endgames are some of the most entertaining things that we have had in, oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, you saw right there from JDG, so well managed across the bridge. They continued to play height. They kind of just played point to point as much as they needed to. You saw them take down Shopify one by one, holding the height along the bridge. And that is such a punishing pull, because you have, if you look at those two zones, I want to say you've got 70 to 80% of your south E-bank kind of pulls to the west. And I think by the way the teams were positioning up, you could tell that that's what they were also playing for. So as soon as it went to the right of bridge, anyone who could get there was trying to do so, but it's actually JDG who has to fight through quite a lot of space to get their way in. They are a viaduct team, so their proximity to zone was certainly close, and they had to hold out a whole lot of teams to get there. That's 19 points on the board for them.
And it was not easy. Not easy at all for any of these teams, because we're not working with a lot of cover, and having those moments where you have like the Gibby teams that are throwing the bubs like crazy, and JDG not playing Gibby, right? We're Watson, Wraith, Seer.
Yeah.
So we're constantly hard beating. We're looking for info, throwing out the Seer attack, playing off the Watson pylons, and it was just incredibly impressive.
Well, I'm glad to be back, guys. It was a great finish to that game. JD Gaming, last time I saw them, they were, causing trouble for Crazy Thieves and holding down a really good rotation, and now they're winning the game. I think that this is a testament to how well that they've been showing up. Shubi, Naughty, and Floating, really one of those stars. We talk about the Challenger circuit all the time, and now we're talking about them in League. Well, here it is. That's the example right there. JD Gaming up on top of the leaderboard for this series so far. 4 games gone, 2 games to go. Sentinels right behind them, and Nemesis following Sentinels. Shopify, that zone style play, they found a way to get back in rhythm, but look at that kill to placement point ratio. Still kind of maybe falling into their own ways. Godlike as well, rounding out the top 5. Tiff, and I'm interested in your thoughts here, because you look at Nemesis and you look at a team like Liquid who's 6 right out of it. Liquid obviously was 0. You look at Nemesis and Alvarelli, 2 stars, 2 people who have been huge names in Apex, and kind of just looking at a head-to-head between them, both really in the running for winning match day 8.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's pretty interesting, because we talk about Team Nemesis having a strong showing in match number 2 on Stormpoint. They do kind of lead Team Liquid in terms of kills, just ahead by 9, but they're still pretty similar in damage, and that's because Team Liquid started off our series by taking a lot of engagements and putting a lot of damage down, but it wasn't actually manifesting in those fight wins. Most notably, they full sent the building on Stormpoint with Buckle Boys that just had like 7 caustic traps out. I don't know if it was 7, but it felt like Panic was constantly shooting them, trying to get them down, but it was just unfortunate, right? They turned some things around. They get that nice win with 13 kills in match number 3. But like, that skill ceiling for that trio is still so high. Like, I don't know why I expect so much from them.
You know, and I think that actually is another way to look at it, whether it's Alb versus Zero or it's Nemesis versus Liquid Bravo. I feel like ceiling, there's a lot of room to grow for these teams. Still a lot more potential that they have to be reached. If we keep seeing them play like this, it seems like they're getting closer and closer to finally finding the form we all know they can have.
Also, whoever made this graphic knows what they're doing. There has been some specific trash talk between these two players that made the stream highlights over the past few weeks between Alb and Zero. Of course, a lot of that is revolving around what each of them has done since they're teaming with kind of Dynasty rosters, of course. Coming on with both of them, of course, on different HAL rosters, and kind of a little bit of back and forth between what each of them has done since. So I would say that both of them trying to prove a point here, not only in this series, but certainly in this split as well.
I made the distinction when you're playing and you are a guy like this. As we take a look at our Sony InZone kill leaderboard underneath it all, still Alvarez up on top. There's different levels to being a competitor, and it never ends. I mean, you win one championship, it's not about that being enough. You got to win your second. You win 2, you're a part of a dynasty, Zero side with Dark Zero, or you even look at his win with HAL and Falcons, although they weren't quite a dynasty there. You look at Alvarez, certainly a part of the original TSM dynasty with Reps and HAL. Job's not done. Like, these guys still want more. Many of the players here trying to qualify for regional finals, not trying to be a dynasty here. So there's levels to this, but as a competitor, there's always more to do. And I like that these guys are bringing it out. It may not be, they may not be as confident as Zidane is. He won the first, championship. He's like, I did it. I got it all. He's showing the trophy. I like it, man, but to each their own on how they want to compete. And I love a competitive attitude, no doubt, Tiff, no matter how it shows up.
I just love personalities in esports in general. So to see them kind of starting to emerge here in Apex, it's not just like the HAL, the Zero. We lose Sweet Dreams, who had a big personality, a couple years ago. So it's like, we need more of that. So emerge, get crazy, show us that personality.
That's a great point to end on. We're going to send you on a break, Tiff. You've been doing great all day. Now, Barav and I are going to handle game 5 here. You guys come back in it, finish off game 6 for this one. Barav, I want to get your thoughts as well on this idea. Personalities in Apex, they are coming more to the forefront. We're seeing it in the play. We're seeing it in the identity of these teams, but we're also seeing it at the individual level more so now. Why do you think it's coming out? Is it just the maturity of the scene? I mean, 6-7 years now going on, people feeling more comfortable with that? Is it the openness of what it feels like? Possibly the fact that there isn't that one dominating team, allowing more players to say, hey, that could be me. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's the maturity of the scene, and also that there's everything to play for, right? All of a sudden, all it takes with how close, when you have standings this close, all it takes is one young fragger, of which, by the way, there are many now. I think that's one of the piece too, Rain. It's like a lot of the kids that were 11 when this game came out, right, are now playing.
They're 18 now. Yeah.
All of a sudden, these young fraggers are coming on the scene, and they're absolutely just stomping on people. So I think it's been really exciting to watch that, and really fun to see, split after split. There's always a new story that's coming out with this game. It's never the same old in Apex Legends.
Beautiful stuff there. Thoughts on the POI draft here, where we're starting? How have you seen it play out? Anything that stands out here heading into 5 on E-District?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is Godlike now being in 4th place is huge. Of course, coming in from Boardwalk, like we said, they're going to baby comp their way through this whole thing, but there's a very important piece that we should talk about here, and that's the Maggie ban game 4. Completely changes the direction of this lobby. If this was a Watson ban, and let me double check that. I'm almost positive
it is a Maggie ban.
Yeah, no, also I wanted to double check it was within 1. Maggie beats out Watson within 1. That changes this lobby drastically. This was going to go one of 2 ways. If that's a Watson ban, that means that this is your Maggie game and you only get a baby comp peak game 6. Instead, haven't seen it yet, expecting, now that Maggie's out, expecting our baby comp peak to actually hit now. There should be even more teams joining Godlike here on at least a little bit of course, Gibby and Newcastle. A lot of ALGS. We've seen some people even ringing paths with that. We'll have to see exactly how this is played out, but certainly expecting to see a lot more big boys in the lobby.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. You're going to see different ways of approaching it. I feel like Watson's also going to sneak her head in there as well. A lot of people preferring, even though it's not necessarily the the most effective meta. She is a very effective character, and Newcastle and her pair very, very well. So there might just be a distinction. You know, we kind of assume everyone can play everything the same level, and I guess that's what it should be, but these aren't stats. This isn't a video game. You don't have like points and, you know, FIFA and Madden, which great games, FC and Madden, obviously great games. You love it there. But here in Apex, you're talking real players. Somebody might just not be as good on a Gibby as they are on a Watson. That's in the back pocket. Pair that with Newcastle. I think we'll see a lot of that too heading into this round.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's going to be interesting because Godlike all of a sudden, as you just saw in that game, look at how easy their move was from North E-Bank over to Southwest E-Bank, and then they even got a free spot very close to zone. That has them now in 4th. All of a sudden, everything's very different. They're going to have a lot of company that wants to slam with them, that wants to take to the skies with them. Speaking of, take a look. JDG, of course, going to be on Baby Comp and checking in with that in a little bit. I expect a lot of teams to be on this comp, and now Godlike won't really have the free kind of reign of the skies. The airspace and also the ground space is going to be pretty busy.
And I think the direction of the compositions are interesting here from two teams that we highlighted. Obviously, you look at Godlike and rotating in with the Valkyrie, Newcastle, and Gibraltar, the Burger Comp, the Baby Comp, however you want to slice it, the Big Baby Kings, whatever we're calling this thing now. Then you also look at Team Nemesis, who, you know, is running the Watson, Seer, and the Wraith. Completely different. No hint of a Baby Comp, but yet defense, utility, and giving Alberlelli a chance to shine. Obviously, we're going to see which one comes out, but a Northern Zone, Rob, already shifting gears, forcing Godlike up, as well as GK through Gamblers, DINOS up as well.
Lots to talk about here. NIP gets the pull that they wanted, and let's not forget they have great games typically from this area, but they're going to have EDAM height for free on a zone that is almost certainly pulling front EDAM. We've seen this one a lot lately, without a doubt. That means NIP should be sitting pretty and can play a slow game from up here. Buckle Boys will also have very close proximity, and you see Elite already kind of coming in to settle in as well. Teams are going to be making very big moves here. Did want to check in on that, by the way. 15 Gibbies in the lobby. So we take a look at actually the first one. It's going to be Dig putting some numbers in on the board. That's going to be Kurev, who falls, and we're only catching the tail end of that. But by the way, Elite is your Galleria team, which tells you just how fast they got. NIP's trying to split loot a little bit, maybe long at EDAM, and they get caught off guard. Kurev exiting the lobby that fast, that's a big deal.
And that's just the one thing you don't want to do. However, it does feel like it would be silly for Elite to try to push too hard, given that they're in this spot. They know most likely that there is a team like NIP there. They probably know they got NIP, and so do they want to say, hey, let's eliminate a problem that'll be a problem for us late game? Or do we kind of just, you know, agree to a truce here? We'll let you get somebody up. We're going to take all the loot that we want. We're going to roam around as 3 until you can do it. Stay in that building when that player comes down as well. We'll let you live.
This is CRT DINOS, by the way, happening at Canal Plaza. There's been a little bit of back and forth with different teams at Canal Plaza on these rotations, but the specific thing to note here is that CRT, as we talked about, has been leaving POIs very, very fast, oftentimes way before Harvesters even spawn. They're out of City Hall. But now let's take a look at this Thuggets battle happening just kind of off of EDAM as well.
Thuggets going in with the lead also. So Elite been involved in 2 fights. They've won one of them already. They're going to win another one here, but it's not Elite. They got baited into fighting against Sentinels, who had moved as well from a long rotation. Monsoon with a longbow. Oh boy, that is not something you want to see. This man's known to hit some clips with that sniper rifle, and he's looking to add one more.
Yes, and hits him out of the sky as well. And just, you never want to be Valcolting near Sentinels ever. I mean, you don't really want to be near Sentinels or in any kind of range of them because of the way that these guys can hit, whether it's the bow, whether it's the Senti, the Kraber, the damage. I think I saw a really good comment this week that was like, if Fun's the 3rd string Kraber, you know that Sentinels is a very, very serious team because Fun on his own has amazing range, and the all MNK squad will be sitting up top and commanding the height for now.
I mean, I think Nano kind of also raised this interesting question too, because we have such a, just going back to the compositions and the clarity of how people go, okay, no Maggie, great, baby, you know, it just becomes like predictable. And I think there's an opportunity for somebody, and Nano proved it yesterday. He said, what can we do without Maggie before that? What can we do by not leaning on what everyone else is doing and to somehow find a wedge for our team to have success? It worked yesterday in Americas. We haven't seen that same thing today. I mean, Nemesis has maybe been the closest with their lineup right now. Wraith, Watson, and Seer, and obviously going away from pretty much defensive legends outside of Watson entirely. But Rob, I think it's something that's going to prove dividends to teams who commit to that, because that is ultimately the problem solved that you have. How do you separate yourself in a lobby where everyone's doing the same thing and maybe you just don't get the luckiest pull? So now what? Are you at a disadvantage? How do you climb back out? Because we know that's what the best teams find a way to do. They get an advantage even when it shouldn't be theirs.
Yeah, and speaking of, just a little bit of tweaks of difference. You just saw Future set that portal, which almost looked like a Roadrunner skit, by the way, going up the stairs with that portal just slowly zigzagging back and forth. But most importantly, he sets the portal at mid E-Dam. I like this play. Also, I like the play. Newcastle Watson Wraith, a very dynamic comp. You can run this on almost any map. We'll have a time to talk about that later, but it just gives me an example where I see them taking mid E-Dam. It surprises me that NIP was so fast. Don't get me wrong. I understand the attractiveness of front compounds at E-Dam and how you have everything pretty much pulling there. But NIP, I mean, it still feels like trying to make that decision to try to get straight onto compound was a risky one. And as we saw, it certainly cost them earlier. And for now, it will be, as we said, the side of full 11 holding central E-Dam. But let's check back in with Team Liquid.
Liquid having a great run in today. Maybe one of the first times we've seen Liquid and seen a little bit of that passion happen earlier on. Normally, maybe it's what can they do in game 6, but now with 2 games to go, sitting in 5th place, I mean, they put another good one together. We could be talking Team Liquid today, and
yeah,
that's always important.
Yeah, especially, I mean, 10th yesterday, but let's not forget, they had 2 top 3s on ED. So Liquid kind of showing that even though they were right around their average, 9/10th on the split, that ED certainly a map that they're looking to put big points up on. That's now GK going to be your team. Right around front Lotus, there's actually quite a lot of action here. Liquid, Shopify, GK, Godlike are all on this side of zone, and none of them in yet.
And looking at that zone as well, I mean, Liquid, yeah, they're rotating, but so is Shopify, Rebellion, GK, Godlike, just 2 of the other teams that are in that mix. Gamblers holding out the side of zone that some may try to approach through. GK seems to have an avenue as well, but they're worried about Godlike. Meanwhile, though, if they don't pick the pace up, Shopify is going to sneak in front of them. And this is going to be an interesting one because a lot of teams who don't necessarily want to fight but are capable of fighting surely seem like they might be running into each other.
Yeah, certainly. And also take a look at Godlike GK. That choke, by the way, we're not really seeing it just yet play out, but someone eventually will hold out that choke all the way to the north that holds out Lotus, and Godlike actually going to go right over. One of the examples, by the way, of why you want to be on a Valk, just fly right out of that, avoid the choke entirely. And now taking a look here at JDG versus Nemesis. This is a Vibile. Oh!
Huge stuff from Nemesis. They already find a kill on the JDG, winners of last game. And you know when it's Alberlelli and Sacred, they're about to capitalize on that.
I'm padding through the inside.
Yeah, I'm getting on the height.
I'm padding through the inside.
I'm doing.
I can't come out because they give me all. They give me all.
My serial got broken. They might come on my door.
Okay.
Doing.
Are they on the port?
All 3 still on
They're
roof.
just on the roof.
Are they on the port though?
They're trying to break my fences.
Kind of. Whatever.
100, give me 100, give me 100, give me.
Bubble.
I'm
getting on top 5 stack, guys. We play.
I'm looking for a pick. I'm looking for a kill.
I'm getting top 5.
They're in Bob. They're in Bob. I have roof. I have roof.
Okay, give me a second. Give me.
The Bob's gonna fall. Wait.
Fuck me. 130 Val.
Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'll be able to fuck them.
50 on Castle. They're looking for me, Sacred.
Give me 100. Give me 1. Give me 1. Not soon. 1 HP. Castle.
I'm trying to live.
Just live, Al. Just live. Gibby's bottom floor. Valk's on roof.
Not.
No, he's 1. Fuck, man.
Bro, play slow, bro. You have to play slow. I said play slow. Just chill. Wait for him. It's
my fault.
Wow. Well, I mean, you could tell that they're chomping at the bit, Brav, but sometimes when you roll the dice, you land deuces or 12s, and it's just not what you were hoping for. Craps on that one, and unfortunately, this is just not... this is not the game plan. They're supposed to win those ones.
Yeah, there's been a little bit. If you've listened to comms this week, there's even been some talk about just exactly kind of the exact comms and the kind of the synergy between that team and their fighting. You heard Sacred the whole time just asking to play slow and wait, and of course they would have if they could have, but it felt like Albin Skittle did not have the luxury of the time. So it just feels like in a lot of battles, not being on the same exact page as they want to be, and you heard that certainly in the comms as well. As we take a look at Revival, still trying to make their way. They're still coming in kind of right near Gamblers around just outside western side of Canal Plaza here on the E-Bank choke.
Again, I do think you see where Alb opens himself up to criticism from other players because of decisions like that, because there's nothing really tactical about the way that they approach that. They got some damage and they just kind of rushed it. The team fight was really about strong arming that other team into a position. And JD Gaming, you know, in some ways getting the damage, getting the knock, it's a disadvantage. In some ways it's an advantage because you know exactly a team like that who is very one-dimensional in their approach, where they're coming from. And so you get to hold. You get to kind of have that first look. They're going to peek the store. They're going to try to finish this off. And in that way, Skittles goes down early, and that's all that it takes to even things back out. Not to mention that, hey, maybe against 18 teams in this lobby, they win that, but against floating, you know, and you got a really good squad there. It's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the map right now. Gambler's going to have a pretty straightforward wrap in as we take a look at kind of going in through Galleria. Normally a pretty difficult one. However, their bigger problems will be this choke in terms of just trying to depart. Also, we'll have an option here. This is still really messy. If we take a look around at this side of the map, there's not a lot of open play. You see Revival kind of being able to hold Canal Plaza. Gamblers has a choice to make on exactly which choke that they want to do. Liquid still needs to wrap. GK is going to be very happy to just take advantage of everything that's happening on this side of the map as well. So really, that's going to be the hotspot for these next battles, and JDG and DINOS might even take advantage of that as well.
That is really a contested area. I mean, that is a hot zone if I've ever seen one. But I think they've done well to share the space so far. Again, it's kind of mutually assured destruction at this point. Every team knows that once they push, then another team can push them with a better advantage. So why be the person to give another team a better advantage? Everyone kind of playing off of that stalemate. But Liquid here, they're the ones who are going to have to do something. Now, what tools do they have to their discretion? You can always Valkyrie. And that's the last kind of ditch result that you want. A lot of the spaces now, though, certainly filled. We're going to see how they handle it as the zone looking to kind of start closing in. You see Vision on the other side. Elite, they've been in fights all day, and they're going to actually now have to move a little bit because that zone is pulled away from the very top of EDAM and just towards the center of it. And it's forced them to actually look to maybe take a fight here from Team Vision.
Yeah, certainly. There's 4 teams that are still on EDAM proper. That's who your Vision, of course, one of them here, and it's not going to be an easy road out. Teams like Buckle Boys also holding bridge with not just 1 wall, but 2 walls, and they're going to probably re-wall a 3rd wall, depending on if there's an ult excel in the back pocket as well. But that will not be an easy trip out. By the way, this is a pretty mean pull. We'll talk about it in a second as Gamblers maybe still trying to figure out their way in Galleria. That's going to be a Revival versus Gamblers about to take place.
Gamblers, Adjuvant takes the Wraith Portal. Gets a little bit of damage from the Thermite. Exhibit goes up. Riley up above. Adjuvant sees it. Calls it out. Another focus of attention. Just total information and slow down. January up on top as well. And they're just going to take this low ground area, continually just resetting, saying we just don't like what we're seeing. And especially when it gets to this moment right now, 18 spots. No one's even earned a point yet, especially outside of KP. So all these teams holding on. This next zone may not tell the full story, but the zone after that certainly, Brob's going to force people to make some more desperate plays.
Yeah, Revival just holding height against Gamblers. And actually, Onsite and I were looking at this with the addition of, and such a good point out by him, with the addition of all the kind of the breakable glass, the Galleria changes quite a bit, actually. It's quite different, the fact that teams, you have sight lines up and down now that you didn't previously have before the hard light. So that'll be interesting. But how about this Kraber in the hands of, as you said, of a Doivan, maybe going to be able to play out of this with the squad?
Yeah, this is somebody who's got an idea of how stressful this moment is, and you could see it just with the hesitation, the immediacy of pulling back. He's playing at 100%. You know, they have those videos sometimes where they're saying dance at 10%, dance at 50, dance at 100. Well, he's dancing at 100 right now, and because he knows just this is a stressful moment. This is the one where if you get past it, top 10 looks very, very easy. But this is the moment that you decide that top 10. So holding on to the Kraber, holding on to the angles. Adjuvant trying to find a pick. He's lost Zephyr again. He knows he's got an uphill battle. Needs something. Can't get it yet. He loses another teammate. This was that precarious spot. January just getting away. Adjuvant still alive. Kraber in hand. But how long will it last? As Chaos Feelings from Dino falls. Kurev finds OJ in the kill feed as well. Loader also falls to Sentinels. Fun FPS. The kill feed is going crazy, but we haven't lost a full team yet.
DINOS is playing Truck and Bridge. By the way, they are on Fuse. We saw them in scrims this week on Fuse, and right there, they tried a 3P Gamblers Revival at Galleria, thought that the angle was safe, and it was anything but safe. So he actually has to knuckle cluster out of there. And instead, now it's going to be Carter also receiving a whole lot of fire, loses both teammates, and now just wide open on Bridge here in the endgame.
Carter now sitting here really with not much to do, but just try to survive, playing for placement. Surely don't think he'll be able to get back to those banners, and if he did grab the banners before he headed out, well, maybe there's a chance. But right here, you're seeing an early skyward dive or maybe a late one, depending on how you look at it. The zone is starting to move right now, but Shopify Rebellion, one of the only teams in the air that I see looking to find a spot to land underneath. Seems like they found a little bit of safe haven here, but they're in the center of the zone. What can they do? Newcastle wall should be going up now. Gibraltar bubble to stabilize. They don't need it. Good patience, holding on to that second defensive utility. And this is actually a great spot for them. Back water side, and they're going to be in control of this zone for a little bit.
Yeah, really nicely done from Shopify, but on the close here, it's going to be pretty brutal. We'll keep an eye on that. They'll have a little bit of safety for now, but they will not be easy on the next move. I like slamming here, I agree, though. Instead of slamming bridge, I like slamming here instead because bridge would just be way too easy to focus from so many different angles now, and Shopify will have a lot of work ahead of them. By the way, CRT versus NIP.
Getting involved, but not quite putting yourself in the center of attention. That's what Shopify just did. We'll see what happens here, though, with CRT, Jim Burton going down. NIP lose Vayne, and it's up to Kurev and Cole. Man, how's that been the story today so far? Kurev, he's got a little bit of magic in the hat. Cole taking so much damage as he peeks his head as a conduit. Felt like it was a conduit team on the other side. I thought I saw that, but maybe not. Either way, Kurev fighting a team with blues. Almost going down. Big PK shots. Oh, the trade is almost there with CRT, but they go down, and Floating also takes down Zainu in the process.
Would that ever have been an unbelievable clip coming in? CRT will fall as well in the feed. NIP will actually be the one that will get those kills in the feed. So now we'll take a look over at GK. GK is going to be very happy. Keep in mind, look at this spot. Of course, everyone knows about the Nook. That's where they've currently slammed, and they have all free reign of this bridge as well. They're back completely cleared, and they will be able to hug this side, this left side. They'll be able to hug and walk north into zone. Keep in mind, also look at Keon. He has another wall ready to go. They will be able to re-wall for their new space as well.
JD Gaming have been a problem today. They have been an absolute problem. Shuby with a Kraber as well and an R9. They are not giving up space easy. Shopify is having issues, but for a team who landed there late, they're pretty even with two of the best zone teams that we've seen today, GK and JD Gaming. Moving in earlier on the bridge. This time they do go beforehand, and they run up, and they see Team Liquid. They've got DINOS nearby as well. Atypical. Up on the high side of this building, and Elite find another kill to finish off Sentinels. They will drop as well.
Yeah, you saw Blink took way too much damage because it's just absolute carnage on the zip build. We saw it earlier. That was Freethinkers, by the way, still holding that area, and now several teams, 5 different teams are on the zip builds. JD Gaming just outside of it.
Do they get hit by this? I think that there's an opening there, but they're not getting hit. Mobile shield comes up. Floating realize what they've got in front of them, and this is a team that you just can't stop. 1 kill, but 1,000 damage so far from Floating. I mean, that just shows you they've been involved in so many different fights. Bubble gonna make sure everybody has a stalemate. Their bubble will go down first, though, but they retreat in with the Newcastle castle wall. And Team Liquid is just forced to stare back at JD Gaming, who adds some more points to their first place.
Yeah, BabyComp battle, by the way, we talked about it. 45% of teams on BabyComp this game, and it's going to be 2 of them going up against each other right here as Floating's thinking about maybe trying to get a wrap with the car, but neither team wanting to give the first kind of opening, and there's so much reset potential here from both sides.
Rock Esports about to go down. Cersei, just 1 shot before it's all over. And he goes up to the very tippity top. He's going to slide into the zone. See you later, buddy. And that's the end of Rock Esports. I was rocking with him for a while, but that was just too much to take on from Cersei. JD Gaming, now they're back in with this stalemate with Team Liquid, but they're going to have to make a move.
And a lot of people will be very familiar with this kind of late game. You've got the bridge and you've got the compound, and I'm not going to lie, you don't have much else here. It's just the low ground beneath the bridge, as well as kind of DINOS, JDG, and Team Liquid on the other side. We're getting another look at the compound. Still Freethinkers, you can see, still have this building, and they still have the height. It's godlike below them. Also now going to be Freethinkers and DINOS trying to get involved.
They played a pretty good game here, and you could see Source Gaming eliminated. They stayed alive quite a while here. DINOS have been holding the bridge quite well. And obviously, JD Gaming is a team to watch. Shuby with the Kraber still in hand. Breaks the Watson fence. R99 is going to push up. Needs to find this spray. Valkyrie up into the air. He knows it. But can he do anything about it? Not worth the time. Goes back into the bubble. Floating also tries to peek and find Elite Dark. But they just took too much damage in the end. In many ways, trying to get this kill could be the reason that JD Gaming go down. Buckle Boys get the respawn. JD still alive. But now it's Team Liquid still there trying to mirror them. There's another bubble. They're going to get aggressive.
There will be a second bubble as well. Take a look. It's going to have an opportunity to get out of this if they need. The bubble timing is on their side, so JDG will also now be able to play the remnants of the wall that's just ahead of them as well, and they'll now be able to play that. Maybe a bit of a bubble stun is avoided, and Naughty going to try to wipe. Yes, indeed. Freethinkers out. Team Liquid out as well.
So smart right there. It looked like they were gonna have to pressure, but it just seemed to everything go their way. Huge shots from Shuby. I told you it was a problem. Valkyrie not safe with this guy if he's got his sights on the sky. DINOS come in. They played a brilliant spot from up top the entire time, but can they stop JD? Can they finish off what has been a phenomenal game from Shuby? They've lost everyone from DJ Killa, and no, they cannot. Floating. Shuby, JD Gaming, first place, and now they do it again.
What a day it's been from them, and such good control of the end game. Let's not forget, they were one of the teams playing in from the bridge side, and they had to slowly kind of inch their way in, and it all came down to, as you referenced earlier, Rain, really that utilization of being the second team to bubble, being the team that is not forced to move first in any of those engagements. You heard it weeks ago, Graceful giving Naughty and the team their flowers deservedly, and this team, let's not forget, they came in, I believe, 4th seed in the region on the weekend. They're looking even better, and I love the narrative. Everyone's like, this is Naughty 2.0. I mean, the IGLing is, you can't say anything bad about it. They look so good. This is Floating 2.0. This is not kind of ALGS Open Floating. This guy's a Pro League veteran leading the scene now, leading the game as well, taking that one. It's a big 24-point game from them.
It's one of the greatest stories that we've got so far from the last year. Challenger Circuit, Twerkaholics, Floating coming in and being a pickup here with Shuby and Naughty, established veterans. And you talk about someone getting the experience and getting it quickly. Well, 2 vets playing, teaching you all the things that are intangibles, Rob, when you are a pro. The little things, how to show up for scrims, what to pay attention to when it comes to refining your gameplay, the little timings that you don't talk about, you never know till you get into that position. They've certainly hit their rhythm. Godlike, another good game. 14 points for them, Buckle Boys. And DINOS, I said they had a great spot up on bridge. They certainly did. 20 points that game. They'll be your second place team in terms of overall points gathered, but JD Gaming will go back to back, grab another win, and Godlike, Sentinels, Liquid, and Nemesis will now round out our top 5 heading into Game 6.
Yeah, certainly a big one from DINOS as well, because you don't want to be the second seed and all of a sudden late in the split you're trying to count points. That's not where you want to be, so it's a little bit of a recovery from them in the back half of these games. But what else can you say? It's just JDG leading, as you said, 70-47. This is now, I mean, no one even close to them in this, and it could be a victory lap game. We'll have to see if someone has a pop-off game that could be at risk, but JD Gaming looking so good this series.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they just got to show up into the top 10, and it's going to be impossible to pass them. But if you want to be a story like this, if you have the opportunity in your life to maybe do something that feels like a risk, but if it paid off, would maybe change your life, that's what Floating did. That's what we saw at the ALGS Open last year, and that's who you just watched win a couple of games in Pro League in the last doubleheader for Group A. If you want to be a part of it, check out our Challenger Circuit. 6 through 8 is when it starts. Registration closes June 3rd, and you can hopefully go to battlefy.com/ALGS and sign up. All right, Brav, it's time to go to break. When we come back, you and Tiff gonna handle Game 6. It's the final game before we reach regional finals for Group A. Let's see how they handle it. Sony InZone, the official audio and monitor partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Red Bull gives you wings.
In every fight comes a moment where you either run from the fire or run through it. You will find me on the other side. Rise to the podium or from the ashes tomorrow. Gebt Vollgas! I'll push, you punish.
In the end, everything dies.
Agreed.
Not today, kapatid. You've got people depending on you.
Failure is an opportunity if you use it.
I love the hunt, no matter the game.
Time to rise and shine.
Thanks.
Gotcha. You are not built for this.
I'm even better face to face.
9. Your moment came. You are not ready.
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the Apex Legends Global Series, guys. They let me out of the basement. I'm ready to cast some more Apex Legends, and I'm stealing Brav along. Wait, no, not really. I wasn't in the basement. I was just grabbing some water because your girl needed it. It's been a wild day of Apex, and I'm excited to see it. We have one more match to go.
Yeah, it's been an amazing day, and I think same with EMEA, it's the teams that you might have expected to be popping off in huge ways haven't been the teams that I think a lot of the community would have maybe put their chips on. Instead, it's been an absolutely huge day from JDG, of course, but a lot of teams still in the wings trying to put together pretty important points here. Let's not forget, after JDG, there's a very small kind of points gap from second to maybe fifth, and we're going to keep an eye on Game 6 because just like we've seen in other regions, this one could be a big one in determining even if someone gets to land, this game alone has a lot of weight.
Yeah, some implications for sure, especially the teams that are looking to hit the qualification just into regional finals, right? We're potentially facing relegation. No one wants to fight it out through those split 2 preseason qualifiers, but you have to do what you have to do. And if you're Group A and this is your last chance to make that showing, lay it all on the line. Get wild. You never know what could happen, but a brief look into the series results leading to the final match of the day. You set a large points gap. I'll take 23 for JD Gaming. That's crazy after back-to-back wins.
Absolutely crazy. And even take a look if we look at 5th through 10th right now, right? Take a look at that. That's only a 12-point gap and even a 9-point gap only between 9th through 5th. So, man, that left side of the table could get shaken up a whole lot. And Ninjas and Pyjamas, an example of a team that wants to also kind of get hold of this match day back after another great day yesterday, your #1 seed in the region. They want to make sure that they don't end this one on a kind of an off day in terms of the regular season.
On a lull?
Yeah,
especially if you're tweeting like, yeah, we're 100% locked for EWC. Yeah, probably not officially, you know, the official people didn't say that, but you know, it's looking great for y'all, right? Also, Team Nemesis, 11 different comps in 11 matches. I know they were struggling with A versus C throughout split 1, but you know, that experimentation could definitely maybe do something like that.
It certainly could, and I think Nemesis is also a team that we've been watching all day. They were kind of in 3rd for a little while. They'll certainly want to make sure that they also kind of maybe regain hold of the reins, without a doubt here. They've now fallen to 6th after that last game, so a team, like we said, we're going to be continuing to highlight, and a team that's had their share of kind of conversations about what they want to change in terms of the way that the games have been going. This is a big opportunity for them to really determine how this match day is going to end here in match number 6.
Yeah, and of course, this is the same comp that they did run in match number 5. So we're keeping it, you know, pretty consistent, but 11 different legend comps prior to this. Now, it's great. We're sitting in 5th place overall on the day, 39 points. And you mentioned that 10-point gap between 10th place. But I think that, yes, there's still room to kind of carve your path into the top 3. Now, mind you, the first time I commented over them, I think they got 2nd overall on the match day, and it looked like a really great showing. They did stumble a bit throughout split 1, but finding their footing is quite nice as we see where that circle is going to pop, and it looks like GK and Gamblers are feeling pretty solid.
They're going to be, and to be honest, there's a decision to be made here too. Is this a South kind of Blossom or is this a South Neon? Both, of course, well within that zone, and you can imagine that those are really going to be the 2 different decisions that teams have as they make their way in from all different corners.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Full 11 already hitting an evac tower out of draft, moving straight towards Neon. It does look like Gamblers popped an evac as well. So curious to what that's going to look like. GK's taking some shots. Crazy Thieves, Shopify Rebellion on their journey from that north to the south. I think Buckle Boys, Team Vision, Team Nemesis likely going to be later on that rotate. But Source, they're picking up some momentum out of Humbert.
Yeah, and CRT also going right away for the Neon choke. They're going to look for probably to get as south as they can on Neon builds. There's a few pieces of real estate that are going to go very, very soon. That's, of course, going to be Bridge. That's going to be, if you're playing Blossom, it'll be any of the Zip builds, of course. And if you're playing Neon, it'll probably be the southernmost Zip builds as well. And speaking of, teams are already trying to fly into the south side of Blossom.
Oh my God. We saw Full 11 drop the evac, and now Soviet dropped, and Future does as well. Legatron can't hold on. Full 11 out of here as the first team in game number 6. Zephyr getting picked back up. Advent likely going to be next, but it was a very strong hold from Gamblers.
Yeah, it's Full 11 trying to make the move from draft. Not easily done to try to get in. And instead, like we said, each of the Zip builds going to slowly be taken here on the Blossom side. And even if they're not right, by the way, take a look. You just starting to see CRT actually is going to be the team. They're not only holding Bridge, they're holding kind of that southern side Blossom Bridge, not the Neon Blossom Bridge, but even kind of further to the west. Typically, this is held a bit later, but CRT is going to hold it now early game.
Wait a second. I just realized that we have Watson in game 6.
Yep.
Like, we have survived. I was like looking at the fences and I'm like, this typically doesn't happen in game number 6. No, we're thriving. We're creating chaos in A versus C.
Yeah, like you said, Watson has been as early as game 3 in this map layout without a doubt. So instead, to see her lasting this long, it's not surprised. I believe, yeah, 19 teams. So, of course, nearly 100% pick rate coming in for her. And these buildings will be fenced up. They will be genned up, and it will not be easy to permeate. And it's honestly a pretty fitting zone for her because she could, every single one of these builds is going to go quickly, and they will be well held.
Well, that's where we're going to see those really large number of teams in the end game. We see Sauce get kind of booped out by the lethal, and here comes the ultimates, and it's essentially pushing them even further back as we kind of go into the void. We're trying to stay invulnerable, and we're looking for a rotate out because Ninjas in Pyjamas are hungry.
Certainly, and NIP, this has been such a consistent team. They've been in first place ever since that first kind of match day weekend, and now as they're still going to kind of be towards the City Hall side of things, of course, they're going to have a very long road. They're keeping an eye on ROC, but specifically, you don't expect to see NIP in 11th with the split, and even the day that they had yesterday. And right now, you could bet that there's even a little bit of momentum as we talk about them, of course, being a Group A team. They want to make sure they're carrying momentum into the regional final.
Yeah, that 11th is just not where you want to be if you're Ninjas in Pyjamas. You're used to being on top. You're feeling really good and consistent. You could afford a lull, sure, but momentum-wise and just mental, yeah, no, I'm not feeling that. But if that's the case, I'm coming into game number 6 confident in every engagement and ready to scrap.
So unsurprisingly, a lot of bets being placed on every single Blossom building here, and teams just want to kind of get into the back of it. Worth noting, as we said, a lot of Neon is in, so it's not surprising to see several teams also choosing South Neon. But talk about safe spots and places to play. Certainly the tunnels at the very bottom of those Blossom kind of underway waterways will be a safe place to play for now.
Only because of Watson, because I'm just thinking to myself, like, you can get trapped in those underwater ways. But for now, an electrified Gibby bubble is out for Source Gaming, and Team Nemesis, you got Sacred here. He's like, oh, I really want to get involved in that. I'm going to throw a Skynade. I'm going to pick up another one. And I like the discipline to come back to the building and not actually get involved.
Yeah, especially also take a look at Nemesis. Kind of, they are an example of a team that has placed a Neon bet instead. Now they're going to be playing all the way here towards the bottom of the side. Now they're a team coming in from Humbert, so it was a long road, and it's a little bit of a late opportunity to get maybe the exact real estate they wanted. But if we do see a Neon pull, they will be sitting pretty to be able to play in from here from the south.
And at this point, who knows? We've seen where 80% of our teams in a lobby get a zone call wrong. It happens. You said it earlier, we're pulling towards some of those older ones, but for Buckle Boys, you mentioned Team Nemesis being late. Well, okay, Buckle Boys are about a minute too late as well. Getting all of that information, looking for some last minute playable space, and we drop and take an ult to the face.
Yeah, right outside Source Gaming, by the way. So Buckle Boys will be just around the corner from Nemesis. And by the way, you could kind of tell Team Nemesis, look at Sacred. He's thinking about it. You knew that he was going to think about it. Port goes down, but kind of gets forced back. He wanted to just, like you said earlier, just kind of scope out the action, but it looks like hopefully Buckle Boys, for their sake, will be able to hold for now.
Yeah, for sure. They drop the bub, they drop a pylon, they're feeling pretty good. All I know is when I see him Sacred, it's like, I'm not gonna do it. I was just thinking about it. Like, I was just literally thinking about it, you know? Might cause chaos, might just walk away. I'm not too sure just yet.
I tell you what, he's one of the best thinking about it players for sure. He kind of gets away with it, as you saw, very comfortably able to just kind of set the TP, scout it, and will be able to hold for now. As a lot of teams are going to be forced out to maybe not have the exact spot they'd want to play. By the way, it's going to be floating, actually going for a knock, but it will be a very quick support res, so floating will get not only back up, but we'll have the help of a gen as well as some cells to get back to 100%.
That's why we love the Gibby Watson, right? Like, you can just really get away with a lot. The fact that we're doing that here in game number 6 is pretty crazy. But after back-to-back games on wins, they know what they're doing. Clearly, they're looking strong, and I love that we get to highlight them for Ninjas and Pyjamas. In 11th in game number 6, we've got some movement to work with, right? So we're just looking kind of for that opening. And Kirev, Cole, Vame, waltz right into this building. We're on the northern side of Blossom here, and we're not content with this, but we just have to wait for where we're pulling towards after this.
Yeah, they're hoping that they can mirror a lot of kind of movement south. They do have ROC a little bit behind them and Sentinels a little bit behind them, so it's not a free opportunity to move in from the north, but certainly an opportunity for NIP. And I think even we're seeing probably Wraithports based on the overhead that I just saw. I saw a little bit of a wiggly, kind of zigzaggy movement and looked like maybe a TP being set. So NIP should actually be into the thick of it, but now it's also Vision who has taken a place here on the Neon side.
And it's crazy that you say, when I look at this, like Team Vision in 13th place. I don't know why. I thought based on their performance, because they've been kind of in those end game situations, we're constantly seeing them in fights. I thought they would be higher on our series results, actually.
They're certainly after yesterday. I mean, let's not forget that was one of the biggest. I think Jayhawk took to Twitter to say there was only one TSM example of a team moving up that many placements in a single game, and I think they tied them for that record. So wow. Vision with a huge day yesterday, and certainly, like you said, expecting big things from them. I would say certainly today, and also the regional finals, and you'd hope if you're a fan of them at LAN as well. But I agree, they're going to want to make this game 6 a big one in terms of points.
Well, for the positioning that they are, they're kind of surrounded by Team Nemesis trying to take space, Thuggets as well, DINOS just ahead of them that are kind of creating that triangle from multiple buildings, really holding down that ring console and denying information for teams that potentially want to look at it. For Shopify Rebellion, you mentioned Ninjas and Pyjamas being in the thick of it. Well, they're pretty much right underneath Shopify.
Yeah, it's going to get nasty over here without a doubt at Blossom. All the Blossom buildings, so many teams, of course, are coexisting on multiple levels of height, but also let's not forget, you've got kind of all the bridge teams looking over them, as well as teams that are outside that haven't gotten yet to any sort of height. So this one is going to be crunchy indeed as we wait for this kind of closure to happen and wait to see exactly where the pull is. At this stage, I want to mention CRT's original position on bridge certainly looking like it might be a good one.
And here's that split hold we were talking about, right? They've got the survey beacon over building, they've got the ring console building, and we're just gonna sit, we're gonna wait for close, we're gonna garner information, and then we're gonna say, all right, I guess it's time to chow.
Now, so you can take a look at DINOS as they're going to just have a look over the bridge as we take a look at exactly where the lay of the land is here at this stage. Let me get ready for exactly a little bit more info on this closure as well. And there's a few key things to highlight certainly here. I think CRT still having this exact bridge is very big. We've seen many end games. Keep in mind in EMEA as well, that Alliance kind of end game win as well. A lot of zones that have ended up pulling there. We'll see exactly as we wait for this ring to close where things might end up next. And it is a South Neon pull. I mean, just take a look at this lobby. It's bets on Blossom without a doubt. What did we talk about? Team Nemesis here playing in from their backs cleared. They're able to play in from south. This is absolutely huge, and DINOS is all alone in Neon Square. That means CRT, instead of having a walk-in that they might have expected or being able to play down here, they are now in the thick of it. They have to figure out their routing, and my goodness, for Thuggets, DINOS, Vision, what a pull that they have now seen. Nemesis split holding so much of the zone. Take a look at how much real estate they're holding, and this is going to get wild for teams that need to leave Blossom.
The scramble that's about to occur is going to be insane. And I do see JD Gaming with one player inside that next circle kind of pathing for them. So definitely going to be interesting. DINOS have already dropped an evac. They've moved in. And Team Nemesis is like, yeah, you're damn right we're here.
Unbelievable pull. You know, as I was saying, and I was kind of thinking, I don't know, South Neon might be a little bit off because everyone, like we talked about with pro players, as soon as everyone else starts picking something, I'm like, man, am I kind of sounding a little bit ridiculous here? But everyone banking on Blossom. There's a little bit too much. I think you were thinking the same thing too, Tiff. There was a little bit too much neon in this thing, I think, to guarantee Blossom. There's even a few Blossom buildings that were out. So like we talked about, this one is a hard pull to those southern builds of Neon, and teams will need to figure out a way either underneath or over this bridge to play into the late game.
My thing is, like, if you don't have that information, are you still trying to pick Blossom? Like, this late into it, like, would you still try to pick Blossom? So you're just banking on the fact that you rotate based on where people are. And if you're like, oh, I play off this team who always gets X ring console, you could be proven wrong. You have got to like, and that's going to be a tough decision with Crazy Thieves kind of holding the line. Team Vision right there as well, and Source Gaming out towards the southern side of things. Do you commit towards the west? Do you commit towards the east? You go to east, you might have some resistance from Team Nemesis, but you're going to walk right into that next circle.
Yeah, and I absolutely love this story. Nemesis and DINOS are, there's only 3 teams, by the way, of the whole lobby, and there's a lot of teams remaining. There are only 3 teams that are even in the next zone currently, as we take a look at 19 squads left, and 3 of them have called this correctly. Nemesis and DINOS are both teams that need a very big day here. You could say the same, of course, about CRT and Vision, who are just outside to the northwest. It's going to be an electric end zone here to see how this plays out.
What a wrap. And there's the scramble we're talking about. Team Liquid goes, Team Vision goes. Here comes JD Gaming swirling around the map, and Crazy Thieves has Phony with a Kraber in hand on the line. Gamblers making moves. DINOS. Now here comes GK Free Thinkers. Oh my God.
So many Valks in the sky, just absolute carnage, watching and flying into all these. And now all of a sudden, the real estate at Neon just skyrocketed. What was once very unattractive buildings that no one wanted to hold are now becoming some of the hottest items on the market as Shopify sets up shop.
Supply and demand, baby. Supply and demand. And not a single soul lands on Team Nemesis.
My word. I mean, we've been treated to hard pulls today. There have been hard pulls across both regions, and they have been, not only have they been so much fun to watch so far, but as we know, this one's going to be a lot of fun as well.
I like how we're challenging people to not only adapt to Season 29, adapt to Deathbox Revival, adapt to Axel, and no, you know what? We're going to pull out Tridents. But joke's on you. It's the hard pools that will be the most hard things to navigate.
Another old zone, by the way, that I think, like we talked about earlier in the show, there are very specific old zones. And if you start to look, you can even look at them as, first of all, I'll interrupt that thought as we take a look at this fight here with ROC to see what they can do.
Oh, I see JDG going down in the kill feed, but ROC able to stay healthy. You've got Cersei that's kind of floating out. This time he's going to focus on healing. It's Sauce holding the line here on the Seer. Has the Hemlock in hand, ready to rip, and there's Cersei doubling down, looking for, and just cut to a Vaxlon. Cue Squidward looking out, like, I want to get involved.
There are very Squidward-like meme windows on Neon, aren't there? It absolutely looks like the same set of railings, without a doubt. Or I should say, what do you call those? Jail cell banisters, whatever they are.
Oh,
Who
no,
knows?
bars?
Yeah, the bars, thank you. Kind of barred windows for absolutely no reason. They're very Squidwardy, but also have to mention several teams just Valcolted into South Neon and causing absolute chaos. That's Godlike, that's Buckle Boys that are all getting in. GK also getting in as well.
Sure, we might be getting picks, but we still haven't lost anyone just yet. JDG was looking in dire straits, but we're all 3 up and we've got a pylon. This is our cover. It's not much, but we gotta take it. Exactly, and at least your pylon is intercepting those nades, doing exactly what it needs to do, but you're on a purple and 2 blues, and I'm feeling uncomfy here as CRT pops on over, bubble comes down, and we're still alive.
Exactly.
For now.
This is the trade-off. When you play Wraith, you can play really nice point-to-point gameplay, and they're still going to have that option, but you, of course, don't have the option of the Valkyl. Let's get into a list and see how they play this year with JDG.
Oh, dead. Chill there. Yeah, trying. They should make it shut off. They might get shut off. Whenever you pour, just rip it. Damn it. Good try. Damn it.
That's impossible. That's just like why. That's like the game.
That's impossible. That's the comm that sticks with me. But I'm like, he's alive. He's dead. He's so alive. No, he's definitely dead. They tried.
Speaking of trying, once again, guess what? We're seeing Wraith teams get absolutely ripped, and even though Wraith has so much strength on this map and being able to play building to building, it's just too much when you have teams looking over you at height from places like Bridge and every single one of these zones. There's a lot of times on ED where Wraith is going to bring you into the late game, but this specific hard pull makes it so hard for the Wraith teams to try to find any space to play.
And I mean, you look elsewhere, we still have Bubs down that are electrified. Sentinels going to answer back with one of their own, and you're just throwing down the Gibby ults, and now just trying to find where did this team go. We've got multiple kills already, but job's not done because we're not into that next circle. We still have to barricade through potentially Ninjas in Pyjamas, Source Gaming, and get into the buildings, but we're making a run for it.
Oh boy. Presumably Mon maybe has a bubble to get through that, and we'll see as the ults are going to be coming down, end zone closing. It's actually going to be a little bit of a phase dome coming out. Blink has to set TP and just going to look for whatever he might be able to play. And now does not have the Q, just going to set port. Team, of course, going to take it. And now they're going to have to try to hold this very small corner. Bubbles down immediately from Mon.
Hey, at least you have it. Maybe we can get... Oh, nope. Fun's dead. Justice for Fun, and they're down to a duo. Okay, what can they make that happen? Regardless, they're still in second overall for the day, but with 16 squads remaining, there's still a lot of room for teams to usurp them, so we have to stay alive for as long as possible. Now, Ninjas of Pyjamas, full send Source Gaming, but the collapse on those buildings is about to occur, and I want to shout out Skittle Cakes, where Team Nemesis is on that southeastern side, has a Kraber on top of the building.
Oh boy, yeah, Nemesis, as we said, back cleared, and they have potential to really change the narrative of not only their day, but really how this end of this split might go for them. As you said, also, it's NIP, Sentinels, and Source Gaming still fighting for this space. And on your screen, Sentinels going to be the forward most of those two and only playing as a duo.
Hey, a 2v3 is better if you've got space. If you've got angles, you can make it work, and you peek down onto Ninjas in Pyjamas, and that peek costs you about 100 HP. Piercing spike to the face. It's fine. We're still okay.
I mean, if there's a duo that can stay alive in just kind of staying alive with Wraith Qs and Bubbles, it's probably Mon and Blink, but taking a look at what Shopify is trying to do, they're flying all the way around kind of central south Neon and just going to try to find a little bit of space to play. Will oob for as long as they can, but they will need to pick a spot with that Gibby Bubble.
10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8. Bro, I wouldn't even want to dive down. You're just trying to prolong the inevitable, and here we go. Zainu gets lit up, takes a ton of damage. Yes, hits the ground. It's Zap and Koi last standing, but they get the squad wipe. The duo of Sentinels not going to be able to withstand. I see Skittle Cakes getting into the mix as well.
Oh my god, look at the kill feed there. You can't even keep up with it. Elite will fall as well. CRD has fallen. So many teams just getting eliminated on that side, and just like that, it will be also Zainu somehow going down to Blink, which tells you there's still even more carnage happening on that side, and Shopify gets away with holding the top of the tunnel.
Source is deathballed on top of each other. Koi is just letting it fly. He's taking to the high ground, maybe looking for a small oob play, but this is the way. You do have to touch the ground now, and you find... Oh my god. That is the Squidward meme, but this time he's looking on the outside. Team Nemesis has fallen after trying to get engaged with that fight.
Just looking for placement. He's got no oob seconds left. You can tell he knows he's out of time on that. He's out of budget and needs to just hope he can take to the skies one more time. NIP, by the way, out. SRC happening as now Team Liquid's going to fall off of the oob as well. They will bubble immediately. Let's stay on board with them for just a second to see if they can fight out of this, because they will gen, they will fence, and they will bubble and just try to win a few fights, grab some KP, and hold any cover they can.
The bubble in and out, Shopify down, Buckle down. We're into the top 4. This is one of the most crazy end games. Look at the bubbles, the Venn diagram of literal hell, and it's godlike. That's just from the low ground. They leave their building. We're shield swapping. Slayer can't handle it. It's just down to Gent as he descends from above. It's Team Liquid, so healthy in the end game. We lose out on Panic, but here he is. He's descending and he's trying, but it's Team Liquid that holds on.
Absolute carnage. Open streets of South Neon. It's 5 bubbles. It's Watson fences covering all of the Valks dropping from the skies. And what a way to end it here in the Americas. It's Team Liquid. We said they needed an exclamation point today, not only for points on the board because they came into the weekend on 9th, but also for their own story, for their momentum at the end of the split, and also even land qualification. What a way to end the day for Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, like, if there's anyone that's going to thrive in the chaos that we just witnessed, it would be these threes. Sykes, Zero, and Panic. I know I talk a lot about comms and what's going through their minds when they're trying to survive something like that, but how do you even calm that, Bravo? Like, you're not even calming. You're just like, I'm trying.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. What we saw there from Liquid, to be able to, I'm so glad, by the way, that we caught their drop, because like we talked about, Tip, they're dropping immediate bubble. Gen goes down. It's just like fences as whatever direction we can. And to be honest, a lot of that, of course, is timing. Another team's looking the other way. They grab a ton of KP. They even play their Gen for cover for a second. By the time that's over, let's not forget, bubbles come back pretty fast when you got a booster. They're able to get another bubble down, and they're able to win the game and put an exclamation point on the day.
I mean, sure, it's only 5 kills, and probably the majority of those came there in the very end, but a 17-point game is nothing to scoff at. Mind you, they took 2 victories here. They had a win on Storm Point, they get one on E-District, and that's really impressive. GK is going to be like kind of your winners in terms of points this lobby. They got 3rd place overall, but they had 13 kills.
Indeed, I cannot wait to see exactly how this netted out, because there's so many teams that we were looking at in terms of what would the day, as we talked about, there was 9 points separating 5th through 9th, I believe, and even elsewhere in the table there were several places where everything was really close. So to be honest, big important moment for Godlike. Rain, I'll let you break down what you saw while we wait for that scoreboard, because this is going to be a really good one.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I want to shift. I mean, that is a great sign of a team that's found some rhythm. They've made themselves known factors within these zones multiple times today.
Yep.
And they were just such difficult teams to play play around. GK, Godlike. It felt like there was this little mini barrier that once you got to end zone, if you weren't there already before them, there was just no way of getting around them. One of them was going to have the prime spot, and they've really made an effort to be, I think, excellent when it comes to doing what they set out to do. But for me, the story shifts to Team Liquid. And in a weird way, it also shifts to Team Liquid taking the edge with the biggest single game over Godlike to make sure that they grab the 2nd place finish. JD Gaming will still clear first, but Godlike and GK, you can't be mad about that performance. Liquid, though, is my story, guys. I just feel that there's so much that this team has that is in front of them. It's nice to finally see them put some points on the board that really make us see it happen.
And of course, having those wins today, it breaks the tiebreaker, right? It puts them that much further up. But we look at the Pro League standings, Rain, and 5th overall for Team Liquid there. That's really nice.
Yeah, and this is the end of Group A, so that's it. They've got 79 points. You look at how many teams within that top 10 are behind them with 5. Well, there's Dino and there's Godlike, but right in 11, you got GK, you got Shopify Rebellion. I'm not excited about those two, those particular teams, but when you start getting down to CRT, I mean, it's going to take almost a match day win for them to try to even come close to Liquid. Liquid's looking really solid. They've done enough, it would appear, not only to be in that top 10, but certainly to make it a regional land, Brav. But taking a look at the overall standings, I mean, we've seen a shakeup in North America, not much, but it's been a great day, I think, for a lot of teams to kind of get into some rhythm heading into the final weekend.
Certainly, one thing I want to highlight as well is Godlike now in 10th with only 5 played. They came into the whole weekend in 15th, and there was a lot of questions about, is Baby Comp set to do the job? It's trending that it doesn't get enough points on average to make it. However, what a statement from them to have the day that they had today and still have a day yet. Of course, now they just went from not qualifying to qualifying, so if they could just put together a pretty solid performance, one that's even doesn't have to be as good as today even, they should be secured. So it's a big story for Godlike.
And you could look at why NIP was so confident. 25 points, a game win. They're still not even passing 2nd place, which is Sentinels, if that's Godlike. So they need 2 of those types of performances. One of them obviously coming next weekend, and then one coming in regional finals to even take NIP after 1st place. And pretty much everyone else in the lobby would have to do that. It is looking like pretty close to a mathematical possibility. NIP haven't already sealed the deal to regional, to land, but we're not gonna jump the gun on that one, guys. We're okay waiting. We'll just let them have the moment for now, Tiff, and sit on top of the leaderboard quite heavily here for at least a week.
Yeah, but if I'm Team Nemesis and Team Liquid, I'm feeling a little uncomfy because there's a lot of teams that still have one more day of play in our regular split season. That could leapfrog over you. So you can definitely get taken down a couple of notches.
If I'm Nemesis, I'm feeling a little bit questionable. If I'm Liquid, I'm feeling like, great, we finally got it. Let's do that again. We got regional finals. We add more points. Yes, we're in a bad spot, but we're playing well finally. We're doing what we need to do. And 5th place, I like that for where they are. Definitely work to be done, though, Tiff. I echo that sentiment. Let's take a look at the Sony in-zone kill leaderboard as we switch gears to kind of highlight the individuals that stood out. We've been talking teams. It's been an in-zone day, so Sony in-zone setting us up with some more in-zone action. Floating. It's hard not to talk about JD Gaming. It is very hard not to mention the name Floating when it comes into that. The only player from that team on the kill leaderboard, and wow, 6 points ahead of J Future, Brav. What a day from him.
What a day. And also, what a good story. I mean, this talks about so much about up and coming fraggers and what they can do, right? Floating. We talked about a story earlier. To be top of the leaderboard by 6, incredible story for JDG. How about also J Future on DINOS? Great day from him. And let's not also forget that DJ, of course, coming into the weekend was the #1 kill leader in the region, which is not talked about enough. And just want to kind of give a shout out to both of those players and really the young guns that are coming in and topping kill leaderboard week after week and making the veterans work for their money this year, without a doubt.
It makes the league better, Tiff. I mean, people who are established, they know the ins and outs of it, but it's easy to fall into a routine. Sometimes need that young pressure to just say, you know, let me get back up on my game.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to get to the top, but it's even harder to stay there. And especially if you've got people that look up to you that are like, oh my God, I'm gonna grow, I'm gonna compete, and I'm gonna take you down. Having that pressure for them, I think, is super cool.
It's actually a great point. So many of these young players have been grown up watching guys like Imperial Hal from the very beginning of the ALGS. Alberlelli as well. I'm sure many were rooting for him. Now playing against him in a lobby in such a different way. Wow, what a surreal experience it must be. Floating, to me, an excellent individual play, but JD Gaming as a team were excellent across the board. Shuby needs a shout out as well. Just his impeccability throughout the offensive opportunities they took throughout this day. I mean, to me, he's playing some of the best Apex I've seen him play. Feels like him, Naughty, and Floating have just hit this rhythm that, Rob, it's really nice to watch, and obviously it's effective too.
It really is, and I think they've already changed, if you ask me, the narrative of this team. I think there's a little bit of question marks around them. There's question marks about where Naughty's IGL was going to go. Is Floating the real deal, etc. And for me, this split has kind of proved it. I think a lot of people will put them just in a different tier. It's like, now it's a question of like, how much carnage is this team going to rack up at LAN? Because, like I said, they were already in 4th. So to have a day like this certainly secures. And it's going to just be amazing to see what they do with the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Regional finals as well could be very exciting if a result like this occurs. Wouldn't expect it, but that would be fascinating. JD Gaming now sitting in 3rd place. I mean, Tiff, now that we just, again, eye these standings one more time, let's look at the bottom half. Maybe some of these bubble teams. 12's the number for the overall LAN qualification, I believe. But, you know, 20's for the regional finals. If you're CRT, if you're Rock, are you worried? You know you got a game in hand. But if it's like today, is it enough?
I mean, where did Crazy Thieves end up on the day? 12th overall?
That's 8 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot, but if you have another one of those days and you grab another 8 points, what are you situating? 61? You're banking on everyone around you having a lackluster day, but there's still room for pop-off performances. GK took a win in map number 1. They can put together a 6-game series quite easily. Shopify Rebellion started heating up in some of our games. They could easily kind of jump up. Same with Rock, right?
Right.
Like, and we've seen full 11 win a match day. You can't count them out.
We have. Yeah, I mean, that numbers add up there. That's 70 points. I mean, if full 11 get another win, it would come at a very appropriate time for them.
It would be regional finals, but still.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a very apropos time. And speaking of an apropos timed talk of really, I think, a location that just seems to fit the dynamic for this lands really well right now. Obviously, EWC has decided to host in Paris, and I think a lot of our players are now gearing up towards a location switch, but obviously it's the biggest prize pool outside of champs that we have throughout the year, so it is a big deal for these pros. The start of our split, Rob, it really does feel like the ramp up to a mini championship at EWC.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt. And I couldn't have asked for a better story. There's a lot of ways that the math could have gone in both EMEA and NA, where we would have seen a lot more kind of sure things in the standings. But as we just talked about, as you guys kind of perfectly talked about on the standings leaderboard, it's anything but. And there's so many teams that are fighting for that chance to get to this event and what it would mean for them. And we don't even have to go into how many amazing surprises have we seen at LANs. You have the most recent champ story. Anything can happen once you get there. And that's the exciting thing about this game.
Well, you know, being there is something that this person is no stranger of. It's what they do when they get there that they've been trying to work on. And it feels like maybe this team is the right iteration to get to the top of the mountain that this player has been waiting for. Of course, I'm talking about Stay Naughty, who is one of our vets in the scene. He's done this for a long time. Naughty, it's great to have you on the show. Congratulations on the win today. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. You know, I feel like it's a long time coming to win a match day because we've been doing pretty darn well. Ever since like last split of last year. So things are coming together finally. Feels good.
You know, as somebody who is in your position, and obviously I think you've reached a new echelon of play, how has it been for you adding someone who's jumped in with this massive amount of talent in floating, working with him, you and Shuby kind of guiding him towards what he needs to do for you guys to be successful. In your eyes, how has that process been? What has he been great at? What have you had to work on him with? And how do you think it's meshing right now towards your ultimate goals for this team?
I think so to answer super simply, I think his starting point is like unbelievably high, because like he's new, like you said, and he started off like at such a high point that it almost feels really easy to show him these things and to like let him learn along the way himself, because like I'm all for like my teammates making play calls if they see something, because like Jayhawk likes to say the whole like 6 eye theory thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's like,
of course,
you have 3 teammates, 6 eyes, like they should be confident enough to like make play calls, but that comes with experience. So it's mainly my job, but same with Shuby, he'll make calls on his own. So I think it's been really well, or it's been going really well, and it's been super smooth.
Nice. No, I mean, I love that. Look, everything looked good from our end today. You had the back-to-back wins, so congratulations on that. We've had a lot of changes, obviously, right? With the season 29 and kind of the timings on rotations. You guys got to win on the match day. It looked good, but what are some of the things that you guys are working towards, maybe like just kind of tidying up even further? Because job's never done. Just because you get a match day win, there are still some things you're looking to correct, like post game, even after a win, especially heading into LAN.
The main thing that I'm trying to correct or like improve on right now as a team is honestly the way we make calls with certain comps, depending how the bands go. That's what scrims help so much with that, because someday you'll have this band and this band and this band. Then you have to come up with a comp where like you have to predict what other people will play if you're an edge or early rotate. So it's a little chess game. But today I feel like we got it spot on with the comps we chose. I think it went well because of that, so that's what I answer that.
Yeah, amazing games from you. I mean, not just today, to be honest, but as you said, all split. You guys have been so consistent, and there's not a lot of teams that have been. It feels like if you put together the games the way that you guys are, you get results on the board. I wanted to ask, there's a lot of teams with a lot of firepower in this current meta. There's a lot you could say about it, of course, but even since Axel, a lot of teams with a lot of firepower that aren't finding kind of the exact timing of the fighting and the chemistry. And just curious what has allowed you guys to be so good and not just kind of placement points on the board, but also kind of the timing of the fights. And of course, being on Axel games being completely different and how that's gone for you.
I think my split second, like instant decisions to like take a fight help a lot. But I also think floating being as good as he is and Shuby being as good as he is, like that all just meshes together and they trust me. So they listen to me with like all these play calls and they do my calls to the best of their ability. And then if they make a call, I'm trusting them, So I feel like we're on a big like trust thing right now. And I think we're building on that. Like me making a call, if my tone isn't super like we're doing this, then they'll maybe suggest something and then might throw off some timing. Yeah. So like, but right now we're like focusing on that basically. Cool. That's like the best way to, be able to like do well as a newer team is just to trust each other just off the bat.
Well, let's break it open a little bit because, I see the Pokemon cards behind you. Obviously, you're a human being as well. You're having fun in life. We don't always get a chance to interview people. What's going on in life, man? I mean, at this stage, obviously, Lane gets switched to Paris. You got any big things going on behind the scenes as a part of your journey right now as a person heading into or parallel with you guys getting to this LAN run?
I mean, not really much going on in your life, just super focused on ALGS and Pro League specifically right now. And I guess now we can sort of look ahead. We might be safe for EWC. I feel like we probably are. I'm just being like, modest about it. But most likely, so now we can focus on like LAN and getting there and focus on the things that I was just telling you about things that we need to improve on as a team. And I'm just all Apex life right now, Yeah. And then obviously,
would you have some family join you at LAN? Have you had family join you at LAN?
Ooh, yeah. My mom and my sister were wanting to come to the LA LAN, but something came up, and that's the one I actually got sixth at, I believe. Sauce. So that would have been nice if my mom had come to that one. But Europe might be a bit far. My mom and sister live in Florida, and I'm in Texas, so it's sort of like a, like they would have to come on their own, kind of thing. So maybe that'd be awesome. I'd love my family to come out and support.
It's always great to have those touch points, man. I mean, we do this. You guys are working hard. You're focused, but at the end of the day, you know, it's you're doing it for a bigger reason. And I love to see that. I love your story. I think, you know, as someone who's been in the league for a long time, just wanted to highlight a little bit of you as well after a great match day. So thank you so much, bud. And you know, we're excited to see where you guys go from here. It feels like the trajectory is only up and up.
Yep, I feel like we're getting better every day. You know, and you know, God is good. Thank God for this performance that we had. So now we get to, you know, chill out, you know, less pressure on our backs, and we get to learn and become better even earlier than, you know, without any pressure, get to start improving more. You know, it's just better to have that environment, you know, even on a match day. Because like on match days, you'll learn the most compared to scrims. So it's like, it's nice now that we have like a lot of pressure off our back.
Can I jump in here really quick? Because this just feels like a really healthy environment. And it's really nice to see. It's refreshing. Like sometimes you get in and there's a little bit of chaos, right? But this seems really good for you. And I'm happy, Naughty. I am.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm sure you guys somewhat know my story, you know, ups and downs all the way. So that means a lot, Tiff. Thank you.
Only up from here, brother. You guys are looking great.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Well, stay Naughty. Congratulations. JD Gaming with the win. Naughty just talking to us here, trying to get his mom and sister out to land. Let's see if we can do it. Maybe Vegas, you know, Florida, Vegas, that can happen. Yeah. We'll see, you know. Maybe, you know, I think we'd hook them up with tickets if they got there. So don't worry about the cost when they're there. Worry about just getting them there in the timeline, taking work off. It was fun. You know, I think Naughty, Tiff, it's been in this league for so long. It's great to catch up with him. And, you know, obviously they did great, so should be on cloud 9. And you actually put the nail on the head. I mean, it's very clean, very clear environment. Feels like they're a well-oiled machine right now.
Well, because sometimes, like, look, we see teams do incredibly well, but then you go in and you listen to the comms and it doesn't seem like it's the healthiest environment, but they're doing great. So you really don't question it. But just hearing how he's talking about it, there's such like a certain lightness to him. Yeah. And I think being able to learn and like what he said, adapt in a comfortable environment where you're already like, you know, I'm not going to say we're locked in for EWC, but we're feeling like that allows you to kind of experiment a bit. And especially when he said he was like trying to tighten up the play calls, I thought, Brav, you were going to love that. When he's like, I just want to be able to call the right legend comp based on the recent bans and how scrims have been playing off. You're like, dude, I've been theory crafting, and that was right in line with you. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like we talked about it today, in both regions, a single pick determines essentially how the whole order goes and how early you had Baby Comp played with no Axelban and Amiya. So I think it's amazing to hear players talk about that, because this is a perfect time where someone, an IGL who wants to theory craft and understand all the permutations and whether certain things are going to be viable. Let's not forget Seer's completely optional now. Like, we're in a completely different world. And I think it's amazing to hear from Naughty being like, okay, I need to be able to call this perfectly. And I think it's a big part of their success, like you point out, Tiff.
Well, it's been great to have this whole day. I mean, we've really seen Group A this week. They've highlighted, and I think there's been a lot of great stories. Maybe it weren't the ones that, you know, buzzer beater, half court at the madness, but we saw something maybe has a little bit, is a little more grounded, maybe a little bit with some more depth to it as we continue to head toward the biggest days Apex Legends Global Series. Tiff, Prof, and I'm watching. We've got May 30 next.